Okay, I am a bad streamer. I am a terrible, terrible, absolute, the worst. I mean, I just, oh, rah, rah. I don't know why, but right when I was about to click stream and before I was getting distracted with something that I needed to do, and I decided to do last second because I was like, yeah, last second, then I'll have my ideas like very, very, very fresh and everything, and it'll be such a good idea. Was not a good idea because it's taking me longer than I thought it was gonna take me. It's like I was going fast. When I'm alone, I do things real fast. You'll see what I'm doing in a second, but look, it's fine. It's fine. It's completely fine. I didn't even update the schedule. Ooh, hold on. I'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I was speeding along, speeding through, but then also trying to set up for stream at the same time, which then I realized that this thing pauses while that happens, so I'm like, oh shoot. Hi everybody. I'll update the schedule in a second, but I'm super tiny. Hi, I'm tiny. Why am I too itty bitty? What happened? There we go. Now I'm not so itty bitty anymore. Anyway, so hi everybody, welcome. I'm still playing through all our broken parts. I think I'm almost done with it. I think I'm almost at the end of it. I was speeding through it. I was like, all right, I'm gonna give it this much time so like my thoughts about it are fresh, like, you know, right? So new, that new car smell just nice and fresh. And then it was just not. It's by how much fresh it is. I'm still playing it. So, basically, I think I'm almost done. I wasn't gonna show it on stream because I wanted to do it to everybody else. So, what's gonna happen is I'm not gonna explain anything. I'm gonna show the last bits of it, and I'm just gonna read the last bits of it since I think I'm approaching the end of it. So I won't explain what exactly has been happening. You're gonna have to go play it yourself to understand what's going on. I hope everybody else did their homework. Not a me moment. Here's my idea of like, I'm gonna put this as fresh as possible. Guys, guess how fresh it is. I'm still playing it. I have some words to say about this as I've been going through it. I have quite a lot to say. But right now, welcome everybody. Hi, welcome to Champai, Charlotte, Bandmaster, Lord, Jinx. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we're talking about and showing a little bit of all our broken parts. So far, actually reading through it and everything, I like the setting of everything. I like the art style to it a lot. I love pixelated art, alright? It's my favorite. Absolute. I don't know. It's right up there with like rough sketches that have some shading to it. Those two, very nice. Or like how how they have that one color, one color that they put, but it's like not. I don't know. It's like different art styles that I see, and I'm like, those fantastic. But pixelated art has always been one of my favorites, and so I'm excited. Opinions on AI. Which I'm confused because if it's a robot, aren't robots if they technically are having intelligence in any way, aren't they also considered an AI? Right? If we're considering the fact that how free will. Look, there's a whole other topic about this. But anyways, so I'm just gonna be reading. I'm gonna pretend you guys are not here for a second, while I finish this. So everybody, goodbye. You don't exist anymore. I don't exist anymore. I'm just gonna read this as me. I'm just going through it again. So hold on. Let me finish going through this a little. You guys could be you can be my thoughts. You'll be my thoughts up there. Here, you guys can see a little bit of it. Just catch me at the end. Is it being captured? There you go. Alright, I'm gonna pretend you guys aren't here. Goodbye. Everybody disappear. I'm gonna even hide chat. So I can't see chat right now. Because this is me just absorbing this game real quick. To keep painting, I have to stop seeing color. I thought maybe I just needed some meds. Or a coolant change. Don't worry. It's a very minor surgery. I just realized I haven't painted anything in a really long time. Don't you paint with UF? I meant paint, not work. Doctor, if a robot can't even tell the difference between the color of the sun and the color of the leaves, can it still paint? I'm sorry, I'm not an expert in painting. All I could say is that this is the best way to restore UF's functionality. You're right, Doctor. Sorry I overreacted. Don't worry about it. Take your time with your decision. In the meantime, feel free to... I'll do it, Doctor. Are you sure? Yes. The sales contest is really important for the company. If I screw this up... I want to keep painting, even if it means using UF. Okay. If you are sure, please, sign the consent form here. Please come into the operating room. Going to sever the vision memory pathway now. Ow! My eyes... It hurts! What's wrong? It shouldn't be painful. Phew. Much better now. It's not over yet. We still need to re-examine the visual module. Okay. Oh, right. This thing. Connecting. Successfully connected to the visual module. Inspect. One error detected. Missing color signal. Connection to the memory module has been lost. Connection to the memory module has been lost? It seems the operation worked, but I should go in and verify it myself. Access granted for the testing. This target didn't manage to evoke any memories last time. We should try somewhere else. Oh, let me go so far. Pepe, let's try this. Can you still see those colors? They're gone? They're really gone? Looks like it. But let's repeat the test just to be sure. Window. They're really gone. I'm not used to it yet. Not seeing color. I should have seen this coming. The day I realized they were still here. But all I wanted to do was bury my head in the sand. Well, the re-examination shows the results we expected. We can end the test now. Of course they're all gone. What else was I expecting? Just to be sure, Pepe, could you try drawing the advertisement again? The one we came up with earlier? The mermaid? Let me try. It looks normal, right? Yes. That's great. Thank you, Doctor. Finally, I'll be able to do my job. How are your eyes? Feeling alright now? Alright? Nothing hurts. It just feels a little strange. So this is what it's like to not have imagination. It's not so bad, actually. Easier than I thought it would be. That's good to hear. Doctor, do you know? It's so good to be a human, to imagine whatever they wish to. If only I could become a mermaid. I can't rest yet. I need to go. Goodbye, Doctor. I hope that was worth it. You walk out of the clinic. By the railing, there's a familiar figure. Huh? Still here? Pepe? It's getting cold. Winter is near. It speaks without turning around. It's cold indeed. Winter should be really on the way. Yeah, it's getting colder. You light a cigarette. The smoke mixed with your exhaled breath drifts into the air. Aren't you going back to work? Pepe, still not turning around, he stares up dreamily. Do you like winter? Yes. I don't know. Think I should say yes? Pepe keeps looking up. Falling leaves drifts in front of its face. Thought I liked it too, but then I realized I seem to like summer more. Or rather, I can't bear for it to end. Shame. Even the longest seasons end. This is the emotion module's data fluctuation, but yes, it exists. Pepe turns its head to you to look at you as you take another puff. This feeling, it exists? Yes, what you're feeling right now is the data flowing in your emotion module. It's not very stable. You need to relax a bit. Pepe lowers its head, then raises it again, looking back at the sky. Leaves keep falling. It catches a yellow leaf and holds it up, facing the sky. Doctor, what color is this leaf? It's already yellow. Pepe examines it carefully, gently rotating it by the stem. The leaf slides from between its fingers, gently drifting away. Goodbye, leaf. Pepe glances at you, smiles slightly, then turns around and leaves. Back to the consultation room. Picture of animal violence, the dumb experience, and here. Just on the screen? Okay, cool. I think it does indeed end on the screen. Alright, then I'll use this screen as my talking screen. Okay, let me bring back chat. Okay. I will join her and sitting. There we go. Alright. Where is my chat so I can bring them back? I bring you all back. Okay, anyways, hi everybody, welcome. I'm gonna have this sound just playing in the background. We'll have this just here. Bye! Welcome everybody. Now finally actually back to what I was originally supposed to be. Anyways, hi, welcome. Hello, hello, hello. So, yes, this is all our broken parts. As you saw a little bit of the end part of the game. So I want to talk about everything in this demo. It shows a good little snippet of things. I don't think it quite goes into full character development, but I think that's, of course, maybe you're going to have patients reoccurring and stuff like that, so you'll get more and more and more. I would think so. I would think that'd be the case. Like, I don't think this will be the last time. If, like, let's just say this day is actually within, the full release of the game. I don't think it'll be the last time you'll end up seeing her or something. Maybe she'll come in again later. If it is, I have some thoughts. I have good criticism and I have bad criticism. This is just a full-on discussion of what we think of this game from just, of course, this is a playtest. This is, I wouldn't even really consider this a demo. Since they are saying that this is just like a playtest kind of. So it's just, you know, testing, right? Testing for bugs, testing for people's thoughts, and all that kind of stuff. So, tell me if I need to up the volume a little. I was keeping it low for you guys because, like I said, I was just trying to finish. So, how many of you have already played this? How many of you did not play this like I told you all to? How dare you? Are you doing a me and just going? I think you can do this pretty much in like 30 minutes, I'd say. Yeah, proof of concept kind of idea. I wouldn't really call this a full demo, which is the reason why I didn't want to just play this on stream and then do a discussion. You guys saw a little bit of it because I made a whoopsie. I don't recall it too well. Well, go play it. Go play it. Play it real quick while we talk about it. You guys played a bit of it, didn't you? And you played it a while back when I was first pushing this out. And now I said we were going to have this stream. All of you. Pretty well. Okay, some of us have good memory and some of us apparently have terrible memory. Those of you with terrible memory, high five. But anyways, I'm first going to talk about... So, with the way that this game opens up, it first opens up with what I assume to be a little bit of a... Giving the players some background of kind of who your character is, and just a tiny bit, right? Like, you don't get the full answers for everything, but just a little smidge, just a little glimpse into what might be going on. Might have a dead sister, might not have a dead sister, all that kinds of stuff. Who knows? But it does give like a little snippet into who your character is, which I do appreciate. I think character introductions, which I have been studying so much of recently, are one of like the hardest things to nail, especially in something that's like this, right? That's like a visual novel setting, to where you're reading it from a certain person's point of view. And from this instance, how it kind of is you get the dialogue of the other characters while also having the inner dialogue of your own character, while also the narration and all that kinds of stuff, right? So it's pretty difficult when you don't have multiple image changes and instead relying on dialogue, which I will say, I'm pretty sure the sister memories was in the head of the other robot you operate in the tutorial. That's what I was thinking at first, but then I don't know. I'm just gonna, this is based on my own, how I was thinking when I was playing through it. I think it was through her, because it was trying to either give you like some dialogue pieces of it, and then it just abruptly starts you into the patient working with them, and then kind of how that, and it kind of makes sense to me because of, like I said, this is going to be super heavily spoilers, and if you haven't played this game, it's going to probably make not a lot of sense. But basically, it's kind of almost like that typical doctor movie, those shows and everything, where you have like a brief moment of going through somebody's experience of losing something and they don't want to let go, of that person, but when they're younger self, they lose that person, so then it briefly cuts to like this emergency procedure that they're trying to save this person's life, and they refuse to give up because they don't want a repeat of the same past. And that's kind of how this kind of began. Which, I mean, I'm not saying, like, oh, you just did another typical thing, which I don't think is bad at all. I actually really liked, because it cuts into what I basically just said. It cuts from that scene to, like, oh no, sister's dead, you're not here anymore, to straight into, you're into the operating scenes. You're operating on this guy, you're going through his brain, you're having to cut out different modules, he keeps wanting to die, you keep refusing his death, and fighting, almost like, oh my god, I forgot what the name of that machine called. The paddles, they charge, they rub, they charge, and they put it on your chest to bring back your heartbeat again. Oh my god, I forgot what it's called. Kind of like a CPR, but with electricity. Kind of the idea. And so that's where you're kind of going through, and then of course we see with our character, which I forgot her name. I will be honest, did we ever get our character's name? I don't think so, right? I don't think we get her name. But we get from her defibrillator. Thank you. Hi Marky. Why are you being around, boy? Go back to bed. Go back to bed, boy. We get that scene, right? That we get that scene of that frustration of just like of her not wanting to lose the patient, but it seems like she ends up losing the patient, which I think is a really interesting start to that. My problem, though, with the beginning and how they try to blend it in with that scene is when you're doing a character introduction that's very much heavily seems to be based like off of a dream state, and then switching to like just dialogue and not so much as actual scenes. Now, like I said, this is more of a proof of concept kind of idea. I don't think this is a legit actual full-on demo. I do think if they did plan to make a demo, I would say to the developers there would probably need to be not so much more game, but changes to things. Either more visuals into the beginning, changing up a little bit of that introduction to the character, because it wasn't bad, mind you, but it wasn't something that would immediately grip me into like, oh, what's going on? Like, what's happening here kind of idea. Because when you do a character introduction and you do it as a heavy dialogue, that is very, very, very hard to, how would I say? When you first meet a character in anything, usually how you first see them leaves a lasting impression. I mean, it's just like with human beings, right? The first impression is usually the one that lasts the most. Most times. And so having a heavy dialogue, and like I said, this is more of a visual novel game, so of course there's going to be dialogue with it. But I do think the issue here was that it was just straight into it. You kind of just reading some stuff, and it's a little, how would you say it, more... Can you stop licking me? Sorry, my boy is distracting me. He's trying to lick my foot. Don't lick my foot, please. I love you too, boy, but not my feet. Please. Go away. You're distracting me. I'm trying to talk. But not so vague, I guess. They were very vague in what they were talking about. Like I said, they were trying to set up a mystery. They're trying to set it up like, ooh, what's going on, and stuff like that. But I think just the way that this worked, it relied too much on an imagination. And not that that's bad, mind you. Not that that's bad. There was too much on an imagination, so much vagueness, and also just so heavy dialogue straight into the beginning, where when you're immediately launched into the scene of the operating room, it's very easy to forget what happens at the beginning. It's very, very easy. If I did not play this right now, I would have forgotten that beginning scene. I probably would briefly remember, like, oh, it's, yeah, there was some dialogue, somebody about a sister, and that's about it. That probably would have been what I would say if I did not play it right now. Because, like I said, it was too vague. It was too heavy on the dialogue while being vague and no visual. There was a little bit of visual description in the dialogue, but I think that scene could have really benefited from more of visual storytelling than dialogue, and maybe brief dialogue. And two, I don't want to keep comparing this to Valhalla. I know it's inspired, but it's literally the game that pops in my head for introduction for characters. Because, let's say, the only visual novel, the one I could really compare it to is Doki Doki, but those are completely different realms. Doki Doki had a... For the characters, it was, of course, more from your standpoint of descriptions for each of the characters and their introduction to things and such, right? But it was kind of like a basic school setting, and when you're introduced to all of them, the character already has some history with them, right? So you get a bit of a description of like, oh, I've seen them do this and this and this, and so you kind of get a brief idea of who everybody is, because I'll call him the MC, has a past, supposedly, right? Has a past of each of these characters, so they have that kind of interest of what's going around. But when it comes to where, like, let's say with Valhalla, we get it from the perspective of Jill. She's coming in, kind of the idea. She has the letter. We see her pick up a letter. There's no dialogue. She just picks up a letter. See her kind of look at it, and then poof, just kind of tosses away, and that's about it. She doesn't anything, but it just sets up that, okay, we see her, she looks tired, she's smoking the cigarette. As she walks in the door, she picks up this letter, and this letter is never mentioned for about like half of the game till later on it's mentioned. But we see a little bit of it, we kind of see her reaction to it, and the fact that she avoids it. Kind of setting up the character idea of, okay, we have somebody who seems to always be working, comes in late, has something to do with a letter, but we don't see this letter mentioned. She doesn't open it immediately. It seems to be a little impacted by it, but we don't know why. But there's like very little dialogue and more visual storytelling that introduces you to your character, kind of idea, right? So it sets up a story. It sets up already of intrigue of like what's going on, what's happening, what's up with this character, through visuals and no storytelling. Another example I can give, and this is not a visual novel, this is not a video game, but of a character introduction that is just so well done without dialogue. And I honestly think, especially in these kind of stories where they're gonna be very dialogue heavy, it actually goes well into having at least like a beginning scene of something that doesn't have a lot of dialogue. And another example I can give, which is out of the blue, I don't know why this one's popping up, is if you've ever seen the Pirates of the Caribbean movie. In the very, very first movie, the main character, you have Jack Sparrow, right? He's on this boat, you see him holding on from what's the top part of it called? I don't know pirate stuff a lot. Crow's Nest. He's hanging up there. You kind of get this like zoom into his face, and it has like this serious look and just staring at everything, and this grandiose feeling. And then all of a sudden it zooms out away from his perspective, and you see he's on this tiny little boat. You see him jump down onto the boat, and it's just like there's water being piled into it. But then it cuts in again, and it just looks serious at all the stuff. And so you kind of get the feeling, all right, like, okay, there's the way he sees himself is just cool pirate, a legend, and all that. But then from the outside, you see it like, okay, where are we going with this? But then you see it later on as he's going further to the pier. He sees some pirates' bodies hanging out to the side, and you see him give kind of like a salute of respect to them. And then he goes back. So it's that immediately tells you, this man is a pirate kind of idea. He sees that, he has respect for him, poof, there you go. And then you see him, how he gets onto the pier of just, like, he doesn't have any panic, even though that thing is sinking beneath him, and has no worries about it. That there just tells you the kind of character, without a single piece of dialogue, tells you the kind of character he is immediately, without dialogue, which is for scenes. So what I'm basically saying here is that later on, of course, the movie, as a movie, has scenes where it's silence, but most of it is through dialogue. Introductions for other characters is through dialogue, and a lot of them there. So a big usage of visual storytelling to dialogue storytelling. And when you have a beginning scene like this, where you're suddenly going to shift into almost basically working in the ER, the trauma room, the intensive, getting your hands dirty, immediately going into things. This is a life and death situation for somebody you're working on. And that kind of intense moment, it would have been nice of just having a little breakthrough, like just tiny, right? Just a tiny calm and getting a little bit of an idea of what's going through your character and why she seems like she's potentially maybe working as a doctor. Why is she being here? What is with her reaction later on when you see that she can't bring back the patient, and why she keeps shocking him over and over, even though he's literally begging to die because he's practically dead. But she refuses to give up over and over and over, to the point basically torturing the poor guy. And I think it would have been good if we had more of visual storytelling, of maybe seeing it where she's looking at a photo and there's a picture with her and her sister and she's looking at her hand. The way that they described it is like she was holding a hand, but in reality she was holding her own hand because her sister wasn't there, and they're talking about it going in the beach and stuff like that. But maybe they could have had more visual storytelling. You could do a little dialogue if you want some explanation, but especially when you cut to such an intense scene, it's easier to kind of almost give the player a shock value, where you have the beginning, you're like, oh, this is what's going on, oh, this is sad, oh, she's missing her, and then just throw you head first into like, all right, you got this patient trying to figure out what's wrong, you got a time limit, this guy's basically in pain and suffering, what are you gonna do? And then you start to see the shock of, oh god, she's not stopping trying to bring him back to life, even though he's practically dead, and begging to just stop. You're just prolonging the inevitable kind of feeling, which is honestly, that scene was beautiful. I actually like that a lot, because I was kind of curious if this game was going to go into the harder part of being a doctor, of being a nurse, of being anything in the medical field, is especially in like the trauma rooms and all these kinds of, where you have to make split-second decisions on the floor, and it's life or death situation. Like, you don't have time to consult. You don't have time to sit back and, all right, let me think how we're gonna, no, you have seconds. And I've seen it, I've heard stories of multiple situations where you do have those moments of people go and they point fingers at, like, you could have done more, you could have done something, but then you have the other side where it's like, death was coming from, did you want to prolong it kind of situation. Of course, that's why you have the whole what do they call it, do not resuscitate, all that signatures and the things they have. And then you have the I am totally blanking on every medical term right now, but basically you have somebody who's set that if you're not conscious, you can have somebody else who will make the decisions, which is always super difficult to put somebody else in that situation as well. But you have all sorts of things, right? It's hard. It's very, very, very hard. So, and I like that. I like that they actually put that here. And then, of course, she made the choice of, she didn't want this guy to die. She was insistent on bringing him back over and over and over. She refused to let him die. And to the point that it was a bit questionable, right? Because if you've never really heard of people that, especially when they're in the ambulance or when they're going to be, they're taken to the ER and stuff like that, that they're repeatedly having to use the paddles to shock somebody over and over and over, they're actually burning the skin. They are burning it, and most of the times they'll have, like, to the point they'll even have the scars on there with just how many times if they used it and such, and it's painful. Sometimes you have people who don't remember it because they're just so out of it. It's probably not to, like, the after wound care after if they did make it through. And then you have people who do remember it. And it's just, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And from how they were portraying it in the game, of just, of course, when you are a doctor, when you are a nurse, when you're working anything in the medical field, your job is to save someone. That is your purpose of why you are there. You are there to save them. You are there to treat them. That is your goal. And when you're losing someone, of course, you're going to do everything you can, but the question becomes, how much are you willing to do to bring back that person, even if it means that they're choking, basically. There is situations where people are literally being choked to death, and it's either because they have a blockage in their airway, it's because of so much fluid built up and just actually shoving a tube into their throat to make them breathe, but in reality it's going to fill up into the tube, and all sorts of things. There's so many different ways that the body can give out, and different ways that we can prolong it, and in hopes that maybe it'll pick up again, maybe it'll start again, and maybe in this and that, and it's a lot. It's a lot. It really is a lot. I think I mentioned before that there was a story that it's true, that this guy is basically, he was dead. He was basically dead. But his eyes suddenly opened. They were performing CPR on him over and over and over and over, and they were literally pumping his heart for him. And his eyes opened, but he couldn't talk. All he could do was look around. And they knew he was conscious, but he couldn't speak, he couldn't move, he couldn't do anything. He was just conscious in that moment. And just the doctor talking about that, and the nurses and the medical assistants and all that in the area, was just this, I've seen people in the last breaths situation, and that frustration of, you know it's coming and there's nothing that you can do about it. It's just coming. And I can't imagine of, literally, you are the only thing that is keeping this man alive, and he is there witnessing it, watching you, keeping him alive. But eventually, you're gonna have to stop pumping his heart for him, because he can't pump it forever. He can't. To try to even go in and do a heart replacement, it's impossible. It is practically impossible to try to give a heart transplant or anything, because it's impossible. It's impossible in that scenario of trying to get an organ transfer of the correct blood type and won't be rejected and all sorts of things, and while somebody is literally having to manually pump his heart over and over and over, and who knows what suffering the patient is going through, and you just don't know. You don't know, because he can't tell you, he can't speak to you, he can't say anything. All you can see is his eyes just looking at you. That is basically how the doctor described it, is that he just saw this man look at him, and just that feeling of, within minutes of, or seconds even, this man was no longer going to be there anymore. That they were going to have to stop. They were going to have to stop pumping his heart. And just that dread. I can't even imagine that. I can't imagine that. Because of course you don't want to, right? You don't want to. You want some miracle to happen and be like, yeah, his heart's gonna pick up again. It'll start again. And he'll be fine. He'll wake up. We'll get him to a treatment. We'll help him move his limbs and all this different stuff. But the thing is that possibility is so low, and there's a chance, and you have to take it. You have to. You have to stop. You can't sit there and have somebody pumping his heart over and over and over for the rest of his life. And I think that's a lot of the hard things that happen in a lot of these, for these doctors, for these nurses, for everybody in the medical field. Even if they're not actively there, you have the people that are there at the registrations and everything, and who hear these things going on, or have to face the doctors and the nurses and the medical assistants after that. Because it's not like it just stops after the patient passes. Because now the people that were around, saw it, now have to deliver the news to family and friends, but also the fact that they lost someone. That's hard. It's really, 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 really hard. Which I was wondering if this game was going to kind of go in a little to that, and it seemed to. And I don't know if that was more of trying to get some more backstory, or rather just they're supposed to be robots, and they're supposed to have these procedures they go through, and they're not supposed to maybe keep resuscitating them over and over and over, and they know, like, okay, after this so many tries, we'll stop here. Which is usually the case. Even in the real world, you do have that that's number of minutes of, or how many tries, and then you want to stop. And of course, some people push it because it's to declare someone dead is just rough. that's extremely rough. And yeah, so that was something I was wondering if this game was going to go into, and I was actually glad that it literally just gave the player some shock of seeing what was happening to the beginning, and it did. So basically my thoughts is, I think the beginning introduction for the character could be fixed a little. I would say not so dialogue heavy, maybe show some more visuals, storytelling than dialogue, just because of you do go straight into a very chaotic scene, a very heavy dialogue, chaotic, absolute madness scene right afterwards. Having a lot of talking in the beginning, then switching to that, it makes the beginning part very dull and very forgettable, especially when it's a lot of words. When you have someone who's going through a story, even if it's like, for reading a book too, for dialogue and such, a lot of books, when we're going into like a beginning dialogue, they go through a lot of more descriptions than they actually do more for dialogue, because it just sets a better picture in the reader's mind. Visuals, or describing said visuals and having something impactful that stays in someone's head and later on is brought up, is what makes it very, very, very important. So that's what I would say. Like here, like maybe have it to where she's looking at a picture of this other woman, and the question is like, who is she? Why is she looking at her? Why does she look so sad when she's looking at her? Why does she look frustrated? What's going on? Who is this woman? And then seeing in her hand as if she's holding someone's hand, and they cut to, after, from looking at the picture, it cuts away and you just see that she's holding her own hand, and then poof, it cuts into the scene of you trying to help this patient. That would immediately, you have already those two scenes, then you launch you into this intense moment to where maybe the player will forget what happened in the beginning, but then they will recall like, oh yeah, there was that picture going on. If it's brought up again, if it's seen, if it's mentioned, or anything like that, just, it leaves more of an impact is what I'm trying to say. If you're trying to develop your main character a bit more and make more of a mystery around them and more intrigue as like what's going on, like what's their story, that would be a very good way if you're trying to do an introduction of the character, trying to show maybe why they're in this field, why they're so insistent and not letting anyone die, or different things like that. I would probably say a visual storytelling is better than a heavy dialogue. Not saying that heavy dialogue introductions are bad. There are plenty of good actual instances of heavy dialogue story. God, I just remembered one right now. I can't remember the movie. It was an old black and white movie, and it's such a heavy dialogue scene. Actually, it starts off as not dialogue, and then it cuts to dialogue, and then the character introduction for the dialogue for everything. It's like it's multiple people talking, just sets the tone of who this character is and makes them impactful and makes them like, what's going on kind of feeling. God, I can't remember it. But yeah, so it can be done. But for the sake of how this is being created, I think the visuals are very much needed. And I don't know, maybe because this is a playtest, maybe they didn't have time to make the arts in the beginning, and maybe if they did, it'd be completely different. But I was just thinking for the beginning part, as I was going through this, I was like, I completely forgot what happened in the beginning. I don't even know if I can go into the history and see it. Well, let me see that far back. No. But yeah, so there's just that I had in mind. What did those of you that did play the game, do you remember the beginning scenes at all? And if you did you like it? Did you actually think it was actually well made? Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me and think something else completely? Do you wish there was a bit more explanation for what was going on in the beginning scene or anything else? My nose is so itchy right now. I'm sorry. I don't know why I keep scratching it. The Caribbean is so good. It's honestly, so many people use it as references for so many things because it is very well made. It's really good. See the cute artist robot? Some flashback scenes. But honestly, like I said, we saw the heavy dialogue with in Doki Doki, right? You get the more of the perspective, like you're talking to the characters, but then also you get your own characters kind of like background, like, oh hey, this is who this is. But that's very, very different. Honestly, the only game I can actually compare this to is Valhalla, or visual novel. Actually, I guess I would say Slay the Princess, but Slay the Princess has a very unique storytelling because it has a narrator, right? And it's voice acted. So I'm trying to think of more like not fully voice acted stuff, but I think that one just, like I said, is very unique because of the way that it's portrayed. And it has more of like you're in a story and this and that, but you can talk back to the narrator. So I would say that one's a little bit more difficult to give a comparison to, but literally, like, I can only really compare Valhalla to it, where in the beginning scenes it's no dialogue, it's just cutscene, and of course it comes into dialogue later on when introducing the other characters, but when you're introducing the main character is very different from when you're introducing other characters, just because usually you see other characters through the perspective of the one you're following when it's this point of view, right? And it seems to be very much a first person point of view kind of thing. So, and of course, and you're also seeing it, like I said, from her perspective, so it's different. So I can really compare it to, it's just kind of like, you can even, like I said, undo the flashback part if you don't want to, and just have it to where she's looking at a picture, or she sees a poster of something, and she remembers that, and you see her, she's holding someone's hand, and then suddenly she looks down, and she's actually just holding her own hand, so it's like, what's going on, kind of idea. Is she haunted by a ghost? I think really a train conductor. I'm not a train conductor. No. Just joining along the ride with this one here. I'm telling you, your introduction was terrible. Tutorial surgery was mostly characters are really bland so far too. I do have to agree with that too. The characters themselves were pretty. They were just okay. Even with Pepe, I was kind of expecting a little bit more from Pepe, but I don't know if it is you're gonna have her recurring or if it is gonna be an idea where you're operating on other patients and you kind of see her going around more, and it's kind of like that regret of like, oh, I should not have done this kind of feeling you're gonna have. I do agree that I did like the the patient in the very beginning, because I think that you do have those patients. You do have those people that are in either just not a good headspace or are just in so much pain that they don't want to be helped. They don't want it. And it's hard when you're operating on someone and trying to save their life and you repeatedly keep hearing them over and over and you have that frustration. I honestly liked the first patient for setting that tone of just, this isn't gonna be like, oh, I got a scratch, help me, or oh no, I have past trauma that's daunting me and all this other stuff. But no, rather in the moment, in the scene, don't know really what's going on so far with his backstory and why, but just hearing him as you're trying to operate was just, that was just, oh, it did not feel great. And I will say, I do think a little bit of a problem to that was that it's your first operating, so you're more trying to figure out what the controls are for the game than anything. So I don't know if having a scene like that was a good idea. Honestly, I'm gonna say, and I hate to say all this because I feel like I'm like, this is terrible. Let me tell you how this should do this, because I don't know, right? I've never made a game before. I don't. Visual novels are not really my thing. Surprisingly, I haven't played a lot of them, but especially when you're going through like a first tutorial into the game, figuring out what the controls are, it's really hard to listen to people, to different people and everything, and what they're trying to say, right? Because you're also at the same time like, what am I doing? Because it's your first time into the game, figuring out what the controls are and everything, right? So I almost wish that you were with somebody and you were being trained, right? Make it set more into the feeling that, because like what they did with the artist, right, is that the company didn't care about the artist, but rather just to get them to be more efficient with the AI is what the whole topic of that was, right? For her, we'll go more into her later on, but basically it was more that they saw the robots as just to be more efficient to produce the product they need to. So, well, I think would have been a great setup was that for our character, if we had her being trained by another doctor, as actually in the real world you do, trying to get your residencies and all that and stuff like that, right? So you have to where a doctor will be being shadowed by another one, because that is what they're going to be doing. So at times they'll have them like, all right, here you go, work on this patient, how would you perform for this and stuff like that. And so it would have been interesting if you had an intense scene like this, and yet they were still doing that, because let me tell you, when it is such an intense scene, I think I mentioned it before, like, for me, so usually people, or they're getting blood draws and stuff like that, they'll have somebody who they're teaching and stuff like that, and they're like, hi, they're like, this is a student for this, and training her about it, do you mind if she does it? And I will say, you have the right to say, no, I don't feel comfortable, I'm sorry, but we're gonna have someone else that isn't the first. And for me, because I have a huge fear of needle being in my arm while I get blood drawn, it's not a good idea. Because what happens is they panic, because I'm just staring at the thing and I will not respond to them until that needle is out of my arm. Not that I'm gonna pass out, I'm fine, but, and completely fine. I just can't speak. It's just, for some reason, that's just my thing. I cannot speak. I just lock up and I just stare at it. I won't move. I won't scream. I just need to stare at it. So for a lot of new people, it's scary. It's scary. They think that I'm just gonna beep, fall over, which you never want somebody to pass out. You never do. But it's very, very hard. So most of the time, yeah, I just have to be like, nah, yeah, look, I really, I know you gotta find it somewhere. So like, but I would recommend that you just watch because that is who I am. And of course, telling them ahead of time is also a good idea of like, I'm gonna breathe, I'm gonna be fine, but they still do panic a little, like breathe. I'm like, I am breathing, you just can't see it because I wear a baggy shirt so you can't see my breath. Doesn't help. Should not wear a baggy shirt, but I was like, I need to be comfy. So I consider trying to be a medical technician. Practice on each other. Yeah. Yeah. Just ooh. Yeah, no, I just at least twice a year in the hospital and weekly at home. Oh, yeah, I do. I have that. I have it too where, see, it's weird. If you give me a shot, I'm pretty okay. I still have the thing where I need to look at it. But if it's the idea of something being left in my body, it's not like completely inside of my body, right? So it's almost like if you put something in my body and close it up, I would be fine with that healed over and everything. I would say I would be fine. I've never actually had that experience, but I would think I would be fine. But I think to me, what it is the idea of something being in there and like halfway in there, halfway not in there. So I'm just staring at like, I'm gonna pull it out. It's gonna move. It's gonna pop if I don't look at it. It's like, I don't know where I got it from. I don't know what happened beforehand, if something did happen and I felt like a pain or my brain played tricks on me, which it loves to do. But yeah, like to get blood drawn or to get an IV and such, my worst nightmare. I'm going to find a vein. Wiggle to find a vein. Oh my god, no. No. Do not do that. Okay, look. I'm gonna tell you. You do not wiggle to find a vein. Because if you do, you might pop that vein and you're gonna have a whole other issue. Do not wiggle. When you have the needle in, it better have found it. If not, you pull it back out and you try again. You don't go wiggle. That's why when you have it out, you have to where they ban it, right? So they're trying to get the blood pumping. You have to squeeze your arm, especially if it's your arm. You sometimes will do it in your hands and stuff like that. I have great veins in my hands, which they better not touch. But that's where usually they get it pumping, and they're trying to feel it, right? They're trying to feel the vein so they can feel it and know exactly where to push it in. So once they push it in, it's straight. For some reason. So here, look at my mouse. Everybody look at my mouse. So let's say this. This is the vein, right? So I put the needle in. As it's in, all right, and either an IV or blood drawn or whatever, you have the needle in. Of course, when it's an IV, they're gonna pull it back out and just leave the tube. Most of the time, from being blood drawn, they don't do that. They have the needle in and with the tubing and all that, and then they hold it until it's pulled out. It depends on what it is, right? Sometimes, depending on what gauge the needle is a different whole thing and all that. So, some people, for some reason, say this is a vein, right? For some people, when they pull it out, they lift and then pull out, which you do not do. If it hurts when they pull it out, it's because they decided, for some reason, to lift it and pull out. And some people don't realize they do it, but it is a huge no. You don't do that. Because, like I said, you're going to damage the vein, which you damage that vein, and in the future, they need to get blood drawn. You've already ruined that, so where they're going to have to find different places. You don't know. I mean, of course, they're most likely going to tell you they're on a blood thinner and all that, but you just got to be really, really, really careful. Just, no. Do not that needle is in, keep that thing still. Do not move that. And when you pull it out, make sure it comes out straight and do not lift it. I don't know if they're afraid that they're gonna push the needle further in, or they don't realize they lift it. If you have shaky hands, which makes it even harder, which for me, I have a little bit of shaky hands when I'm trying to do something very precise. My hands start to kind of wiggle a bit, which is reason why I can't be a surgeon. But it is a really bad. And of course, you have people that are heavy-handed and light-handed. Just all different techniques everybody has and kind of things. But yeah, no, well, be careful. It's bad. Exactly. That kind of idea. Just be so careful with that. Bruising most of the time comes from that. Saw it in a like a kid's hospital where I saw the lifting, and like, oh my god, the amount that one was scolded was it's not big. No, you do not do that. Find the main since most missed of the first try, which I mean, it's fine, right? Of course you're gonna miss if you're not used to it. It's fine. People get experience because they do it more and more and more. Nobody's perfect the first time. They get it. Oh, great, cool. They don't. It's fine, but it's just, you know. To anchor my finger in the person's arms while moveless. Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of, I'm sorry, my nose is so itchy. I don't know why. I don't know if I get an allergic reaction to something or what, but just my nose. Everything else feels fine. My nose is itchy. But yeah, so a whole other thing. Why is it all the time? It was set because we were getting so many bots on Twitch to the point that it was just getting annoying. One of my mods said it. I don't know how Twitch works, and I don't know how to lower it. So it's kind of stuck. So yeah, till I can get one of my mods back over there on Twitch and help out, then yeah, change it. I would. I just, nobody uses Twitch. Twitch is terrible. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's the forgotten child, alright? It's the forgotten child. But yeah, but anyway, so, why are we going to needles and such? I don't know, but, oh yeah, so I was talking about foreshadowing. So I think for in this game, having that scene, if you wanted to have it in the beginning, and you have somebody being shadowed kind of idea, and have it to where she was shadowing, but have it like in such an intense scene to really show that they don't really care about the patient, rather just efficiency and training and all that. And it's like you have such an intense moment. It's like, why are you letting a student work on this? What are you doing? Like, this is a really I mean, you do have doctors that do have, and I mean, it is experience, right? And they are there ready to jump right in if need be, because of course later on you need to expect for these doctors, nurses, everybody to be able to do what you do eventually. So they do have it to where they do have them do pretty intensive stuff, and if something happens, they're right there to be able to correct it or anything like that. So yeah, so they do have that. That is a thing. So I think it would have been interesting here is that if we had her working with somebody else, and we see that, and she's having this patient that is just, he's dying, the refusal, and just to keep moving, and then we keep seeing her shocking him, and then starting to hear the other one like, what are you doing? Like, stop it, this is enough, that is enough, just enough. And you keep seeing her repeatedly shocking, trying to bring it back over and over, and then that kind of sets the tone to where you see, like, you're being taught, and you, the player, are learning how the game works, right, as the tutorial, and at the same time being yelled at, and also hearing the other guy begging for death, and then you have her that is all over the place. So I think that would have been a better setup of kind of making that scene where the player is learning how the game works, but it sets well in the story to where she's also learning it, and you're and you see like kind of the spiral down and that kind of panic of like, oh my god, what's happening? Like, what's going on? I don't understand, but what's happening? I'm scared, kind of feeling. I feel like that would have been a little bit better setting, especially if you want to use that as a tutorial for what's going on and such. So yeah. Anyways, let me take a sip of my drink. So that was just like the beginning tutorials and everything like that. So we'll go more into later. Sorry, God. Make sure my nose isn't like poofy or something. It doesn't feel poofy. It just looks. Just red at the tip. I don't know why. What's happening? I heard noises and I can't tell what that is. But yeah, so that's just the beginning scenes for the cutscenes, and as it goes further in and it changes and such, so. And you got pills and vials. I'm getting like transfusions and such. I have to do over several times for the needles and things. It's just, you have people that are good at it, and you have people that aren't good at it, and you have to do it, right? Like, I've heard many stories where somebody was just like absolutely upset, and of course they had somebody else in, and they're like somebody needs to get this on the first try, and they have somebody else who does it, and also different things like that, right? So some people are good at it, some people are not. But I mean, you'll have to get it eventually. It's kind of the requirement. Let's say you're the only one on the floor who knows how to do this, but you're just not good at it. It's just like, gotta have to get it. No, kind of have to. But yeah. I was trying to also see this of the comments. It's interesting that they call each other it instead of she or she. But apart from that, there's not much else or tells me what's going on in the robot only city. Really missed opportunity. It does. I do agree. I do like that they use it instead of. I do sometimes use she. I think they've used he before for the other patient when talking about him. But then they do switch to it, which kind of confused me a tiny bit because I'm like, which one are we talking about now? Who is it? But I do like that to try to reinforce the fact that they're robots. They're all robots and everything. So that's kind of what's going on. And of course, you do have a little bit of the setting of if they don't perform well, they get recycled, right? And that's what it seems like. What our character later on, we get introduced to all of that. Our character may be being recycled, so needs to get some performance better. And maybe that'll be the thing for the game, right? You have to do so many certain tasks that would be considered good in the eyes of the companies. Sounds like Lethal Company, right? I don't know why every time I say the company, it sounds like Lethal Companies. The company. Nah, I want to play Lethal Company. Kind of miss that game. It's fun. But yeah. So, anyways, though, so it kind of seems like maybe that might be the direction the game might go for like different. If it does a different ending kind of choice, which I think would honestly do pretty well, where you need to meet your quota by the end of the day of having so many surgeries that are done that the company approves of, and like, yeah, you won't be recycled. But then you start having more of the questionable ones of like, oh, like we have with the artist one, right? Where she has this. So I'm not going to go too much in detail and all that, but from you guys saw a little bit of it too here, is that she is an artist, but she's been having issues producing things because she has an AI that's in her head, which is interesting. I'm wondering if they're going to go more into that concept, because if they're robots and they have intelligence, that should basically be making them an AI. artificial intelligence. So I'm curious if they're gonna do it like Halo. So if you've never played Halo, Halo has the same kind of concept. I mean, they have robots, right? And they have like the little guilty spark and all that, but they are AIs, but they have two categories of AI. They have dumb AIs and they have smart AIs. And dumb AIs don't really mean like they're actually really stupid and they don't know what they're doing, but rather the dumb AIs are set to where like you have AIs for who that control the city, right? You have for the drainage systems, water, electricity, the stoplights on the streets and stuff like that. So they kind of operate in a very linear kind of manner, not so much thinking outside of the box, but manage things, and that kind of idea. And they don't grow really. They can't grow outside of the realm of like, oh, I'm gonna blow everything up, kind of idea. And so that's kind of like what the dumb AI, in a very simple manner of explaining it, kind of is, to where you have a smart AI and like the infamous Cortana, where she learns more and more and more and more, where you kind of even see a bit at the beginning of potentially what Cortana was like if you see the latest Halo Infinite one, to where it's like, oh, what is this thingy? Are they friendly or are they enemies? And then later on, after experiencing multiple hits by a gravity hammer, it's like, these things are enemies. Kill them quickly, please, God. Kind of like they have that growth. They kind of have that intelligence of almost like a human, to where we're stupid and then we learn, but we still do stupid things. So it's kind of almost like that, right? So is that kind of the same idea here, to where all the robots essentially have like a smart AI kind of mechanic, to where they grow, they learn in different things, but then they have other, what they call an AI, being the dumb AI settings, to where they're very linear, they only operate based on these controls and they don't go outside of them. There's no like, let me think of a memory and recall these moments, and when I paint, it's all of a sudden just looks like a splash of goo on the wall, but it carries so much emotion. I'm sorry if I just absolutely just ripped into every artist right now. Look, I don't got an art bone in me, okay? Sometimes I see artwork and then I'm like, yeah. I'm sorry. Some of it actually looks pretty great. Don't get me wrong. I think some of them are actually really cool in how they decide to do them. Like sometimes they'll like put it on stuff and like spin it around, and like the process of it looks pretty cool. And like how it makes it's like, oh, that's actually really neat. Other times it looks like they just got a bucket and started splashing it on the wall. I'm sorry. I don't know. All right, I don't have the creativity in my brain. But it kind of, I don't know if that's kind of what this was about. And so she was having complications to where she couldn't make stuff really. And so they were having her have this AI to make her more efficient, but all of a sudden they were having like coloring issues, and it seemed to be that because of her memories that she recalled the colors of things, and that's what was interfering. So you had to make the choice of basically cutting her memories of it. And so and what you learned is that how she sees the world is very black and white because of this AI thing. So you basically you presented her with like, this is the fix, but you can think about it, you don't have to do it. But she made the immediate decision that I'm gonna get recycled if I don't. Basically, I don't know if that means completely death, if that means like a memory wipe situation. I don't know what that exactly means, but she's like, do it. And so you have that like, okay, I guess, yeah. And I don't know, I feel like, I don't know if later on we'll kind of see it more, but I kind of wish we could deducted, maybe there'll be an explanation for that. Maybe she's seen it so many times she's just grown numb to it, which I mean, kind of really does reflect some of the doctors and stuff like that, where they do have that. We can't blame them having a bit of that detachment feeling. So I don't know if that kind of explains why she wasn't so like, are you 100% sure? Like, absolutely, like, I don't know about this. I mean, you could think about it for a few more days, where she was like, are you sure? All right, then let's go. Kind of feeling. And then afterwards, like, oh yeah, great, kind of thing. I kind of wish there was a little more to that, where you kind of see that reluctance and maybe, and I don't know, maybe it's they're planning for more of like, oh, they'll show her development later on, and you'll kind of keep running into her kind of moment, and kind of that like, oh no, and then she'll start recalling memories, and either you have that decision to push for it and have her recall things again, or they keep the surgery successful and don't, and things. So I will say the characters were not as, and it is just a test play, right? But it wasn't as fleshed out and really like making that scene just heartbreaking of like, I don't want to cut it. I mean, you guys saw me. I cut that thing. I didn't quite hesitate when I cut it. Because I didn't have that emotion, really. I didn't have that. I don't know. Maybe it's purposeful, right? Maybe that's the developers, like, maybe he's watching everybody and just like, who clicks it so quickly? Aha, you do click it quickly. Yes, that is the goal. I want to make you feel like you're heartless and all that. And then later on, you're like, going to be like, no, what have I done? Kind of moment, right? I don't know. But I just, from a playtest, and it's a playtest, right? It's kind of giving an idea, and it's kind of how this is. To me, it's what I think playtests are more. Just let me hear the people's voices, so I kind of get an idea of what's going on. I'm just gonna send out a concept and see what they think, and for bug testing and all sorts of other stuff. But if this was a demo, I would be way more critical and say, you need to flesh out those characters a lot more. You need to make me feel absolutely terrible making me cut those wires. You need to just make me feel like a monster cutting them. You need to make me hate her for just, like, I couldn't do anything. Or just absolutely, like, I don't know, even if it was, like, if we were going to cut the wire, and all of a sudden, like, this was, like, shaky, but, like, I wasn't actually shaking it. It just, in-game, she was shaky. And that would have told so much. God. Alright. We're gonna go into it. A whole other rabbit hole. Storytelling that doesn't have, like, it's just, like, simple things, right? Not even, like, through expressions on somebody's face. And I just mean just, like, out of the blue, random, weird little changes that most people would just be like, okay. But, like, imagine if you were going to go cut that wire, all right? We'll set the scene. You're going to cut that wire. This is going to cut her memory, but it'll let the AI be more functional, and she won't be recycled and everything, right? You're going to go ahead and cut it. And then suddenly, this is shaking. And you are not moving or nothing. Like, you, as the heartless player as you are, you're going to cut it. And then you see this shaking. To me, that would have said so much about our character. That would have just set, even if it was like for a quick moment and then it would stop, that would have said so much to our character. Another game that did that was Undertale. Undertale in the Genocide route. What happened in that one, spoilers for that, at the end when you're talking to Flowey, after you've killed everybody, and just immediately starts killing. Happens again with Sans, right? At the very end there, just immediately start attacking without you putting input in. After, to a certain extent. When the game takes control and actually does something that's not within the player's control, those moments can become very impactful. When not used too much, right? When not used too much, but can tell the story of the character you're supposed to be playing as a lot more, and give them more character than just a self-insert, which I don't think she's gonna be a self-insert at all, but it develops them a little bit more without having to use these lengthy words and whole dive story into explanations of like, oh, this trauma and this happened, but just do simple emotions felt that way would be just phenomenal. It would just tell you the idea of, she doesn't want to do this, but she has to. Doesn't have a choice. I mean, she could not do it, but what's the consequences? But to see that shaking, to see that moment of hesitation of not wanting to do that, would speak so many volumes of, she knows what this is going to do, and she doesn't want to, but she has to. And I feel like would have developed a lot more just making that moment of later on talking to her just be like, no, Pepe, I don't know. And then to see her attitude afterwards, it's realize it's a mask. She's putting on a mask to cover up how she's actually feeling, and either it's for maybe the company's watching around and listening to what she has to say, or she's doing it for Pepe to make her be like, yeah, you did the right choice. And in reality, it just hurts her to keep doing this to people over and over and over kind of situation. I don't know. I just feel like it could have used a lot more, but like basically what I'm trying to say is in a game like this, story is everything in how you portray your characters and how you develop them and such. So that's what's going to make the people come back and see what it is. Because this is ultimately like a visual novel with minimal gameplay and elements. I mean, actually, I have to say, this did have quite a bit of gameplay elements into it. And you did figure out more of the characters through the gameplay of it and such. So actually it was pretty well done. But honestly, what's going to keep the players coming back and curious to see more about it is going to be however you set up the characters. Either you felt guilty about them, or you are working on someone you absolutely hate. And hey, let me tell you, in the medical field, sometimes you have people that come in that are just god-awful people, but you have a duty to perform because that is what you were set to do. There goes the morals. What you gonna do? There is all sorts of scenarios in the world. If you can think of it, it probably has happened. And I would be curious to see if this game would go in a direction like that. If you're working on someone and you're just like, there's just kind of moment. Or is it going to be like, I just, no, I wanna. Or just that, I have to end this. I don't have a choice. I need to. I'm sorry. Or that yippee, we did it moment kind of idea. I'm sorry if I scared everybody right now with that. I scared myself. I saw my dog jump behind me. I'm sorry. Kind of different feelings. So I don't know. But for me, if this was the demo and this is what I played, I don't think I would play this. Which I like the concept. Okay, I do. I like the whole robots. I like robots. I love robots. Future dystopian idea, pretty cool. I like that. The style of it, I love the art style of it. Do not get me wrong. I do love the art style, so much of it. The gameplay of it is actually intriguing. I don't even know if we're going to go just through full memories and that's what we're going to repeatedly be doing, or if it's going to be different people, or I don't know how that exactly is going to be. That kind of felt like just a her situation, but I could be wrong. It probably will be multiple ways and that will be done. And that's how you'll learn more about each of the characters, right? But if this was the demo, this was not the playtest, this would not be a game that would really capture me and be like, oh, I need to see more of this. I need to see what's going on. And I think what it is that, to me, it just lacks the characters. It does. It lacks the character development, the attachment, the emotions to it. It just felt like as if someone was telling me a story numbly and not so much emotion into it to where I just felt devastation doing what I did. And like I said, maybe that is the plan. Maybe that is wholeheartedly the plan. And this is a game where it's like it will tear out your heart and stomp on it. Later on, you'll just be like, moment, right? I don't know. will be about demonization. It does seem like that. It does seem like it's more about like they just want workers and robots, right? Instead of humans. Maybe that is the mystery of like what happened to the humans and what is going on with that, or is it gonna be like these people were actually humans before? Is this like a Nikkei scenario where people were humans beforehand and they got turned into robots and such? But don't get me wrong. The animations they did have in this with the pixelated and such, beautiful, phenomenal. I loved it. Actually, very, very well done. I liked the smoothness of it. It ran very, very well. The music, I will have to say, they were playing music quite a bit through the memory sections when you were reading them, but they get cut off very quickly when you continue. And that cutoff is very abrupt. I don't know if that was purposeful, but it just kind of sounded like it didn't sound right. It didn't sound like it was in game. I would say if that was purposeful, then they need to kind of tweak that a little bit to where it makes it sound like it's being cut off because of you're pulling out the memory thing, instead of it just being like I'm playing a video and then boop, I need to pause it kind of sound. And for the music, I do think that needs to be adjusted a bit. The speech thingy. The speech, like, beep, 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 beep thingy, I don't like it. I don't like it. Maybe it'd be something that would just grow on me after a little bit. I didn't think I was going to be critical about it, but I kept hearing it over and over, and I know it's supposed to be, like, kind of gauging what tone of voice to think that they're going to be speaking of, but I don't know. I didn't care for it, really. I don't know, it just needs to adjust the audio a little bit of it, maybe add some reverb a little to it or something that would make it sound more appropriate to the game. Like, a lot of the sounds that were happening didn't sound appropriate to the style of the game. I don't know if I was expecting more of like a retro kind of sound or what, but I don't know, it just felt a little out of place. So a lot of the sounds, I will say, sounded very, very out of place in this game. But the style for it. The style. Beautiful. This here, just this continuous, I love this scene right here. It's the reason why I stayed on it. I really, really love this. This is great. The passing through, the small animations through here, like, this is chill. This is very, very chill. I would love this to be like a going away scene, for a stream or something. I love this. I really, really, really do. Or like a break in before, when I make my last minute coffee runs. Kind of things. Like, this is really, really, really great. I like that. The same thing when you see them leaning back outside the clinic smoking, and they were having that comments and whatever, right? I really did like that small, like, animations. And they repeat, but they were nicely done. They were very, very nice. I did like that a lot. But and especially for what they showed, I think the visuals for that were fine. I have beginning criticisms, but I do have for here. This is well done here. But I do say, overall, the writing could be done a lot better, and that's hard. And that's probably the hardest thing to do in this game, or to fix, would be the writing, because writing's hard. Writing is really, really hard. When you have an idea, it is very different when you have to actually write it down, and that's kind of what this feels like here, is that the development for the characters, the scenarios they're trying to lay out, they don't quite hit the way I feel like they're supposed to be hitting. And I think it's just the way that they're being delivered more. Like I said, you don't have to rely on full, heavy dialogue all the way for everything. Like I said, like, you could just do, if you want a little bit more on visuals, which this game seems a little bit more on, like, visual interaction of the player moving around and doing different stuff. Play with me. That sounds wrong. Oh god. Okay, what I mean by that is mess with my hand. Mess with me like going around, going to cut that wire and doing that. Or when I'm sawing off the bits from the other one, suddenly I'm sawing them off and then you see it stop. And I'm like, what are you doing? Move them around. And then I move it again. I'm like, oh, that was weird. Or when I'm charging the thing, like to shock, right? All of a sudden I lose control of this and you just see it being moved and moved and moved and moved and moved, right? And like I said, don't use it to overboard, but I'm trying to explain different ways to show of an explanation of what your character is feeling, because that's the hardest part. I think that is the hardest part, is what's going to be the hardest one of them all, is making the player care for the main character. That is probably one of the things I loved so much about in Valhalla, is the fact that in the end of everything in that game, the fact that I loved Jill so much in that game says a lot of how they developed that character. Because usually it is so hard for the main character in any story, especially in that kind of idea where you're getting it from their perspective and reading from their perspective, and to give them a personality and make the player care about that character so much like that, and not as a self-insert. There's two different things: a self-insert and an actual individual character, and making them feel more like an individual character rather than a self-insert, and make them so impactful and so memorable, is extremely difficult to do. But I do think this game needs that, heavily so. And that's hard. That's really, 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 really hard, because you do have that perspective that the story is being told to you. You're being told in a very certain manner, and you have to deliver it to the player of like, hey, there's a lot going on with this character, more than what you think, and it's hard. It's really, really hard, and I hate keep comparing this to Valhalla, but I look at my desk and I see Valhalla stuff, and it's the first thing that pops in my head. I think that's honestly what will probably help out a lot with the storytelling, is once you can nail her down, then the others should be easier to write out, because then you'll start thinking more of how to make them interact with your character and with how she will interact with them, kind of idea. And that will be, especially because she felt very bland, and I think that was purposeful. But if you could still see different emotions done with her, and they kind of felt like they tried to in the beginning, of repeatedly trying to bring her back over and over and over, but it's just, she felt bland. She felt like there wasn't much to her there. Where, I'm using Valhalla again. Give you the example from Valhalla, the first day with Jill, you get to see her interactions with, I think you see her interactions with Gil, but the interactions with the first customer, right, was Mr. Donovan, I believe is his name, and you kind of see how the way she talks to him, that she doesn't just bow her head and is like, the customer is always right. No, she rather argues back with him, and she shows her intelligence when speaking to him. It's like, okay, so she is not just, how would I say this? You gave her more development, in a sense, is what I'm trying to say for that. Instead of her just being a bland character and just like more of a projection for what the player would feel of, like, this guy's terrible and this and that. Rather, she gave actual arguments to him, was able to talk to him about things, and you see that she does have some range of knowledge for other things, and she seems to actually be reading the news articles a lot, and who knows what's kind of going on with all the things and how they kind of work, and seems to have done her own little investigation into how different things work elsewhere and such, and then her experience with talking to the others. So you see that she has been here for a while talking in this setup. So she's been a bartender for a while. You get that storytelling. You see that she reads a lot of different articles, so that's why she's able to talk to this guy a lot. And the fact that she doesn't just like, customer is always right, means she has some attitude. You get that little bit of explanations from her from just the first interactions with the first customer kind of feeling. And that's where with here, when you're interacting with Pepe, all I really got was that she doesn't got an art bone in her body, which, have fun. And seems a little bit like, oh, you see in black and white? Oh, huh, I see. Well, let's go check over here. And I'm like, huh, this is what should be done, meaning like, okay, so she's been in the clinic for a while, right? She's been working on this stuff. We need to cut it. You sure? Yeah. Okay. All right. So she's not super hesitant to do surgeries that could very well completely change the person and make them lose their entire memories. All right. Is that really a full explanation for her entire care of those, considering what we saw in the beginning? Or see how I kind of am, where I'm not so sure of how to describe our main character, or with the other one. I mean, to be fair, with Valhalla's have done a completed game, therefore we already know each of the characters, how they're developed and all that, where this one we really don't know. But just from the beginning explanations, it's so hard to pinpoint what exactly she is, because in all honesty, she feels very much like a blank slate. That just recycling is gonna happen. Am I against that? Am I not? I don't know. She doesn't seem like, oh god, oh no, I have to do it this way. It's hard. It's hard. And I cannot stress enough that to make the main character feel more than an insert and make the player care so much about the main character, it's gonna be the hardest thing, but I think it's what will make everything else come easier to do. Because what you'll do is that you will establish the kind of character she is. And once you completely establish her, set an idea of what's going to be happening, what's going on, what she's going to go through, what growth her character is going to go through. Will she have any growth? Will you make the player frustrated at this character? Will you make the player side with this character all the time? Or what are you going to do? Did I see some movement over here? Did I see some movement in this side over here? Or is it just the shadow back here? It might be just the shadow back here. But what I will say here is that, okay, it is just the shadow. If by making the main character not so agreeable and so easy for the developers for the player to agree with, you're gonna add a conflict to the main character. And if you do it right, you'll make the main character feel very different from than just a blank slate and from a self-insert. I am using another comparison. I'm so sorry. For instance, with Valhalla. In Valhalla, Jill makes the moment where you realize what she did with her ex, right? And you realize what she does with the kid, Gabby, and everything, and her decision to run away, not wanting to talk to her and all that. It's very much a scene of, for me, I was with everybody else who was yelling at Jill and being like, you need to talk to this kid and you keep trying to run away from her. I'm going to drag your butt all the way back to her so you guys can talk kind of scenario. Like, you aren't making the same mistake again because you obviously are living with so much guilt because of it kind of idea, which was very important. It showed you the kind of character that Jill is. Showed you her personality, what her huge regret is, but how much that fear controls her to the point that she's willing to make a very similar mistake again. And she needs the push from everybody else. And it makes you really, really upset by her decisions to do that. and it makes the player not so much agree. And you can understand it from her set point of view, but at the same time, from an outside point of view, you're like, what are you doing? kind of feeling. And they did it well to where I was upset with Jill at that moment, even though I understood from her perspective of where she was coming from, because of course we have that advantage to where we can see into her thoughts and all that, but at the same time it was just like, you idiot kind of feeling. And they did it well, to where, of course, not just completely like, oh, I hate that character from this day and onward moment. No, they did it really well. You see that she ends up growing from that, and every choice that comes after that. And like I said, it adds that conflict to where the player gets to see more into how this character interacts with everything, and isn't just an agreeable, yeah, that makes sense, that makes sense, that's a good choice too, yeah, that's all the good choices, everything well choice, I understand that, oh man, this tragedy happened, oh yeah, yeah, I would do the same kind of feeling. But where in this one it was like that frustration of like, yeah, you idiot. And that's to the point where the player no longer felt like they were the main character. If they were trying to do, that's what's so hard is, and I get it, like with Doki Doki, with the self-insert thing, I don't know, I've just never been into self-insert stuff. This has never been my thing. I don't think that's what this game is trying to do. If it is trying to do a self-insert, yeah, I think you could benefit a lot more without it, but I think that would add, it's, okay, I feel like Nikki's about to get some shots thrown at it. I'm sorry, but that's, I think, one of the big things that I just don't like about Nikkei, is that the main character honestly just kind of feels like somebody's trying to do a self-insert into him, because in every single choice he makes, even though it is so extremely stupid and it always gets praises from everybody inside of the game, is like choices that would be made for a self-insert character of like, oh, this is the good option, and always choosing the good option kind of scenario, and yeah, that is this and that kind of thing, and it makes the character so bland, and the interactions feel so bland, to where that's what this feels like with her, rather where I'm like, I mean, the choice to cut someone's memories and things like that is not great, but just that how so agreeable, and how it seems like they get a clap from Pepe, and Pepe's like, yeah, this is good, and you kind of like, okay, and no real reaction from your own character of like, yeah, or even hearing from her dialogue of like, you're more efficient, this is what you need, and so and then would make the player feel like, wait, what? No, what are you doing? You're terrible, kind of feeling. Where if you add that little bit of conflict to what the player, instead of just making the player feel good all the time, and like, yeah, this is a good self-insert, but instead have that conflict moment of having the main character, and I don't mean to make it like, don't do just an obvious stupid choice, so to be like, what the heck, like that doesn't make any sense, but make it fit like within character. Like I would go back with Jill, it made a lot of sense for her reaction to Gabby. Why? Because she did it before. She'd been doing it. She explained that that's what she had been doing, and look what happened. She has one of the biggest regrets she's ever made, and she's living with that. And now here she is, almost repeating the same thing again, but it's because that fear has such a strong hold. And it made sense. It made sense for her reaction, but it just didn't sit well with nobody. So that's where I said, like, using a conflict like that, using a conflict between the player and the main character can be done very, very well, and easily set the player apart from the main character, and make the main character feel more like its own individual rather than just a self-insert. So, and once you can do that, like I said, once you can make the main character their own complete story and just completely better by having their own individual personality, thoughts, and everything that don't just feel like a self-insert, and like I said, actually develops this character, then you can make the interactions with the other characters easier, because you already know how this one reacts, how this one acts, how this one's going to interact with each of them, and their reaction to everything. And therefore, you can revolve the story around that. Things will come easier once you can get your main character down. As somebody who has written stories before, having the main character's personality down, having the main character's understanding what their conflict is going to be down, and also of how if it is going to be resolved or not going to be down, everything else will kind of start falling into pieces then. It's just, I cannot stress enough how important the main character here will be in development, because right now it feels entirely like a blank story, and just that is how that's being told. But yeah, so well, other than that, anybody else has any thoughts for when they have played this game? Do you agree with me? Do you not? Do you think, hey, maybe a self-insert would actually not be so bad for this scenario? Or, hey, yeah, you know, maybe more development main character? Or do you guys think that maybe developments on the other characters will help impact the main character more, and that would make the main character more unique by developing the outside characters or anything like that? What are your guys' thoughts? I'm not saying that this is the only way to say it, right? There's so many different stories, there's so many different ways. Just for myself, it's always something I've found really, really important, is developing the main character, figuring out what personality they are, what they have, why. That's the other thing, is always a why. Why is the biggest thing. Always the why. Why do they act the way they do? Why are they doing what are they doing? Why do they have this conflict to begin with? What happened with that? Why? I've always been the biggest things, and everything else just kind of falls into place, where you can have like a basic draw up for side characters and such, and then all of a sudden you're looking at them and you're like, oh, this one fits perfectly here. We'll just develop that more and flesh that out. I mean, to give you an example, Valhalla again. It's the only game I've really done a deep dive with recently. When Valhalla was first being developed, Lenore and Gabby was actually going to be the older sister, and Lenore was going to be the younger sister. And Lenore kind of seemed more of like the shy, nerdy kind of one, instead of how she's described to be a little bit more of the outgoing personality, where Gabby was going to be the older sister, even more eccentric kind of feeling and stuff like that. But then, as the developers kind of going around and talking with some other people, they're like, well, it wouldn't make sense for the older sister, because she'd be like, oh, well, that's between their relationships, like, after it's over, I shouldn't be involved. Like, it wouldn't make sense for her to be demanding and blaming, like, you're the one who killed my sister, unless she was younger. If she was younger, she was more innocent, more naive, and all like that, then that would make a lot more sense. So, yeah, that there's, like I said, you go through developments and you go through storytelling and you have these concepts in mind, and later on it's fine to go back and change them and be like, wait, this would be better if we change it this way, or it would be better if we switch it around. Talk to people, listen to people and talk. Criticism is always the hardest to take. I mentioned it before. If you wouldn't take somebody's advice, why would you listen to their criticism? But it's always, and I'm not saying this as like I'm critiquing everything, this is terrible, this is bad. This is rather, I want to see this be made. I want to see this completed, because it's the amount of styling and all this of the characters before even Pepe too, and all of this, it's well done. It's obviously, it doesn't look like they just half-baked some slopped and there we go, here we go. Especially that this is a playtest. This isn't even a demo. There's work put into this. There is a lot of work. I just think the story needs help. I think the story just needs help, in all honesty, and that's completely fine. This seems like this is their first game. Of course, they're not gonna be like God's writing kind of idea. and it's important. It's important to listen around, to hear what they have to say, and all of that. All of what's going around and all that, and get people's ideas, right? Maybe somebody else's ideas for what I am saying is completely different. Somebody else has a different idea. Play around with it. Write stories, play around with it. Take advantage of streamers like me using stuff, talking about this. Take advantage of other people playing the games and making posts on Reddit, their own YouTube videos, and all stuff like that. Take advantage of it and make another playtest and push that out and be like, here's this story. What do you guys think of that? Kind of idea. Take advantage of this, because this isn't like a one done deal and you're like, now you send it out, it's like, oh, I can't change that. And it's hard to revise a story. Once you made something and you're like, oh, this is beautiful, and then you have other people's reading it and they're saying the complete opposite, it feels terrible. I know. God, do I know. It hurts so much when you hear it and you're like, I put so, it sounded so good. But I get it. And it's just hurts. It hurts so much, but once you get it down to what you want, get it down to how it sounds, and you start hearing other people, and maybe what they have to say will help improve some of the things. And maybe afterwards you'll see how things lay out a little better, and you're like, oh, wow, okay, that fits actually pretty nice here. And maybe you'll have sections, right? You'll have sections of things that'll fit really nicely, and then other areas that don't fit so nice anymore, it's just gonna have to change them up and figure out. When I would make AMVs, just a long time ago, what I would do, this is completely different, but what I would do is I listen to the song that I want. I listen to the song, the anime, I'd watch it. I watch it fully, everything over and over again. Basically, what I would literally be doing is you're on YouTube, and I would just be clicking the forward arrow. Actually, don't do it. They don't do it on YouTube. The editing software I would use uses it. But basically, if you're holding down the right arrow key, it'll like speed through it, and like there will be like no talking. I'll put it on mute and just watch the whole scenes over and over, just to repeat. Afterwards, I would label the episodes that I wanted, go through them, take out the scenes that I think would work the best, and then all of a sudden I just get an idea. I'm like, this fits perfect here, this fits perfect here, this fits perfect here. I have huge gaps in the middle. Let's just throw everything down and see what works. And that's what I would do. I would throw things around. They'd be all messed up and choppy, and slowly start rearranging them like a puzzle. Just slowly rearranging them, see what fits better, sync them up a bit better, cut them out, crop them a bit, change the transitions. Some scenes would be absolutely beautiful, and then I look back to a previous one that I made, like, that doesn't work so much anymore. Let me change it around. And that's why it would take me about like 3 months to make a 3-minute video. Even as I would get better at making them, they would still take me as long, because then I became more picky in how I wanted things done. I learned better skills in how things would transition better, and how I wanted to either tell a story through the song. I wanted to make the song like a trailer, the AMV like a trailer, or I just wanted to look as smooth transitions as possible. Depending on what I wanted, it would be different, depending on what I thought with that song, what I thought of the music. I made 2 different AMVs for Higurashi. One of them, I wanted to make them like a trailer. I wanted to feel like a trailer for the anime. The other one, I just wanted to this lead up to this creepy, terrifying, like pour torture to this one character, and then the other one I wanted to make how much this other one felt like a villain kind of idea. It just depended on what I wanted, how I felt about it, that I would change it around. I would reposition everything. And that's where I think this is here. You're gonna have sections that fit beautifully. You're gonna throw it in whatever you need in the middle, and sometimes things will line up, but like, oh my god, it was meant to be. And then you look at the other ones you said, and you're like, it doesn't work so much anymore. Well, which one are you gonna mess with? Which ones are you gonna shift? Maybe it'll just be better later on in the story, or maybe earlier on, or maybe it just needs to be gone because now this other one just fits better. It's hard. It's really, really hard. And it's all about repositioning. It's all about rewriting things and trying it. But that's the beauty of what this is here, is that this is a playtest. These are playtests. This is where you get to hear thoughts from people and everything else. So it's not just be like, well, this is the demo for it, and we're already making the entire full game, so we're just looking for bugs. And be like, you got a lot more than bugs, but that's what you don't just have. At least I think. I don't know. I might be wrong, but try out shifting it a bit. Maybe you don't even have to change the whole layout of this. Just change some of the dialogue. Honestly, you could just change the dialogue. See how that messes around. Maybe do what I said in the beginning. Maybe use more imaging in the beginning rather than the dialogue. Shift it a little bit like that. You don't have to rewrite out all these scenes and like, oh, great, I have to do this and that. No, I'm not saying you have to change the entirety of the beginning. You do what you want to do for how you want to make the story. But do listen, and I do stress this, do listen to the people you believe are passionate in the work you are doing and not just there to criticize it because they want to crap on the thing that you are putting your heart into. People that really care about something you're working on are not just going to either clap you on the back repeatedly and say zero criticism, or just give nothing but criticism. They will give you a bit of both, and they will want to see improvements done. And it's very, very hard to tell, and I know that's very difficult to tell, but do focus that you're not just doing what everybody else wants you to do. You're still writing what you want, but don't be afraid to take some of what they have to say and change it a little and see how it looks to you. If it looks good, try it. If it doesn't look good, then mush it up and try it a different way, kind of idea. That's all I'm saying. Improve the characterization and the act on it. To hear you talk about it. This game is a game that is only in playtest. Like, there is no full demo for it. There's no release date for it. It's all our broken parts. If you want to go through the whole game and see what I'm talking about and later on see the stream, if you have things to say about it, go ahead and put it in my comment section for this, or go put it in the review section for Steam as well, and put your thoughts there. Put your thoughts of what you say about this game and what you're thinking about this game and everything, because it's important. It is very, very important. And for me, to write it out in a text would be hard because it would just sound like a lot more criticism, which is why I would rather like doing it here where I'm talking about it in this way and you can hear my tone of voice. I'm not just trying to be like, this is terrible, this is a disappointment, this is that, this is, like I said, this is a playtest. This is one of your first games, of course this is going to be very, very hard to nail. That you chose something extremely difficult. You're telling a story, and especially if you're trying to set up a main... sorry, I had to sneeze. I had tried to sneeze the bear out of me. It was coming out, sorry. But, it's difficult. It is difficult, and I really do think the main character development is probably going to be the hardest thing, but it will definitely reward you easier than trying to make the the side characters more developed first, and then try to explain their stories and explain. Like I said, you can imagine it. Probably been done, and it can be done well, and it can be done bad, or it can be done lukewarm, kind of idea. Where you can get the main characters slowly start to grow and start to learn more about them through the other characters, right? Which, honestly, Valhalla kind of does that scenario. It does do that to where you get to learn more about Jill because of the other characters she interacted with, and of course she seems to have a history, which I think is the hardest thing that this game might have issues, because this game, so far, besides the very first guy we talked to here, doesn't seem to be, maybe with the patients, be people she knows, right? So with Valhalla had the advantage of like these other characters already know your character while also mixing in people that don't. So I had a mix between people who knew you and people who didn't. Same thing with Doki Doki. Doki also had a mix of characters who knew you and who didn't. But that's a whole other field of game that I'm trying to use very little comparisons. It's a visual novel, so it's easier for me to use. So yeah, it's difficult. It's very, very difficult, but I would recommend use more visual storytelling to express the different characters' emotions. If you're going to be so more focused on working on things in the surgeries and stuff rather than having this the character sprite in front of you talking. If it was just the character sprite, kind of like how Valhalla has it, into where that's just like reading inside thoughts and stuff like that, and showing expressions through the sprites, then that would be a different story. But if it's more going into like the surgeries and stuff, I would say visual storytelling might help the players a bit more, and honestly would help you, the developer, a lot more in how to express the main character's emotions. Because of course you don't get to see her face, just like with Valhalla kind of interactions, but especially if you're working a lot and you have the player's eyes drifting away from the dialogue and the player is more focused on working on things, that's going to be the big problem, is that I'm not just quickly getting some stuff done and think, okay, we got a lot of dialogue session, all of a sudden we have books and books and books and books being done. And then, oh, I gotta work on some things, nothing else is happening, and think, okay, let's go. Where this one is very much, we got some story, got things done, got some story, got things done, got some story, got things done, kind of scenario. So it's a lot of looking around, doing other things, which you're having me be scattered brain all over the place, where a lot of visual is going to help a lot more in that sense to really grasp what's happening with your main character's thoughts. So just a little of ideas, just shoving a little. Like I said, don't go too heavy-handed to where the shaking and all that, you see it every single time and you're like, okay, I get it, and it starts to get annoying. You're like, okay, maybe I just have shaky hands, right? So it's a fine line, and you've chose a very hard genre, but you know what? Everybody has their first, right? Everybody has their first that they're working on and stuff like that. I like to see more from this game, see what they decide to improve on. Maybe they have a whole different improvement that is being done, and it's like completely just out of our view. I'm like, oh my god, they're geniuses. I didn't even think of that, and it's just great. Don't know. Coffee talk? I already heard of Coffee Talk. We were gonna play it, and then I ended up getting distracted with a whole other things. It just wasn't as fun and gripping. Oh, I see. Helps a lot being made to gravity freely is a mark of content that I really love. So, to explain with Valhalla, and I think what that one did very, very well, was that a lot of the heavy things that were going on is shifted, right? So at first, it was mostly like the people that would come in. It wasn't so much your own character. It was more the people that were coming in, the stories you were kind of hearing from them, slowly kind of be piecing things together. Then you would have the articles you would read. And then suddenly you had the article of the bomb in the bank. And then you remember a conversation of one of your friends, or one, I say friends, later on I guess you guys are technically friends, say, right? It was say that was apparently going to be working at that bank, and poor, what's her name, Stella? Stella was like, oh god, I didn't want you to go there, and then you have that, and all of a sudden you hear on the news, and what happens? Say doesn't show up for a while, you hear all sorts of things, suddenly Gil is just out the door sprinting. You're like, what's going on? So you have like this huge heavy sitting that's happening in the background, while at the same time you still have Dorothy coming in just being Dorothy, right? So you have that shift between to where, like, oh, you have the funny moments, and then you have Stella coming in just heartbroken, crying, saying, I don't know where she is, she's supposed to be there, she's not responding, and all sorts of things, right? And you're just like, oh God, and like for days this is going on, and you have that dread of just what's going on. But then you forget a little bit because then you have the other characters that are talking and such. Like, it shifts between these scenes very well because it's happening in the background for a lot of things, and you have some characters that are related to it, so you get to hear with them and everything. So insider information and always loose lips. And that's another thing, right? They make a character that you're just like, God, you suck. Like, so much. I hate you. But then at the same time, you can't just disregard them because it's like, oh, kind of actually, you're not completely wrong on some things, but also, ugh. One of the things he was saying that I thought was really, really interesting, and it still stuck with me, is the fact that people get desensitized from things, and so that's why they try to get more gruesome and bigger stories and all sorts of things like that, but people just, as more time goes on, it becomes more desensitized towards it, and so that's why they shift to the different topics that they do, and even exaggerate some things and all this stuff. Like, he allows that information, and he explains it from a business standpoint, how that works, right? And he describes it, and even though you have the conflict, and even Jill has the conflict with him, there's still things that even she's like, you are terrible, but damn it, kind of things. And then the information you do learn from him, it's like, oh, and then you also figure out with the other poor girl, it's just like, it's just, and like I said, you have a lot of different dynamics that it shifts to, and different characters that they're not just great characters to hang out with, or they're not just terrible characters that you hate, that they're not black and white. And I think that's very, very important when telling a story, because I mean, in real life, no one's black and white. They don't have just one set of morals, and it's always the good person and always the bad person or stuff like that, right? It's always the gray parts to things, and the different shifts to them and the different things. I was like, oh, okay. So I think that's where Valhalla very much benefited, that yes, it did have the silly moments, and it did have the silly moments in the serious moments, and that kind of shift. And then suddenly, all of a sudden, you hear, like, oh, Say's here. Great, she's here. But she's running, and she hasn't told Stella. And then you see that whole interaction with her and Stella, and it's like, oh, God, kind of feeling, right? And so finally, that's all done, all great, everything is good. And then you get Gabby. And then that's when the player cannot run from it. And I think that's the interesting point, to where you have the good old Dorothy. And I think that's the interesting part to it, where you get this experience that you're the outsider that has slightly impact because that's one of your customers, and one of your great customers, and you have the other one that's coming in crying and sad and scared, and then your coworker might be involved with it, and all the sorts of things, right? And every time you've always been hearing everybody else's issues coming to you and talking, and suddenly you have your own issue, and as the player following Jill, you'll get a chance to escape it. There's no moment of like, oh, it's funny. No, you just have Jill constantly in a mood because of it, right? And so that's where the game shifts to, now your character has the issue. You're right there with her, and you're witnessing everything, and how it completely changes the whole atmosphere of the game. How that the whole tone shifts, right? How she interacts, how she blows up in the Riddler guy's face, right? And her interaction with him, and how just angry and upset she was. And then later on, you see her to apologize for that. Like, even though you were absolutely annoying, I'm sorry. And that whole scene, right? You do have that change in the way that the other characters start to come in and trying to help, and that kind of tonal shift that it does, that you're not, and you're still talking with everybody else and hearing their stories and such, but you now are experiencing Jill, who's going through her own sets of problems, that now the way that she speaks is different. If you actually do compare from side to side from the two scenes, it's her conversation, especially when she first hears the news from Gabby, she's very different in how she interacts with people, which is to be expected, right? It is to be expected. It's not like a completely huge shift, but it's a shift that makes sense kind of idea. It's a shift that, of course, somebody who hears this news is going to act in this way. They're not just going to be like, yeah, it's fine. Whatever. She's dead, Meh. Who cares? No, this is something that's like, oh no, kind of moment. And it sticks. Of course, it's going to stick. So, I think that was very, very well done with that game. And the bar is set very high. And I'm so sorry, all the broken parts. But I'm not saying to the point that this game is already doomed, right? Like, I'm saying, like, oh, it's doomed. There's no way that this is going to be great. It's already terrible and all of it. It's not. It is not. I do think that the writing does need to be adjusted. I do think that some of the way things are done, especially for the playtest, needs to be presented, because of course from the playtest you will end up making to the demo, right? And from the demo, that's going to be your huge key into gripping people into your story. You have to have something that is intriguing enough to be like, yeah, I'm gonna play this thing. When this comes out, like, I have to play it. This is so good. I need to know more. I need to know what's happening. And you have to make that impact somehow, some way. Whether you leave someone off on a cliffhanger, or at the end you make them in tears, crying, and just like, no, I can't be it. Oh, kind of feeling, right? Or you have that moment of just pure anger, like, what are you doing? No! Like, you have to have some impactful emotion hit the player to the point they're going to be like, I need to see this kind of idea. And as much as I would say it could be from gameplay, this is not the kind of game that it's going to be through gameplay, which is hard, right? Some games just have great gameplay where some people are just like, oh, this is fine. This is a visual novel type of game. It's very heavy on storytelling. So how you're going to hit the people to come play it is through the storytelling. Your art style can be great, all right? Don't get me wrong. Your art style is already great. I love it. I love this so much. This is beautiful. I love this. I like that this actually even stays here. Yeah, it stays here. I'm clicking on it. It's amazing. I like that. I really, really do. But this isn't the kind of game that you're going to get me with art style, that you're going to get me from the music, that you're going to get me from the sound, that you're going to get me from the gameplay. You're going to only really get me through the emotions that are given through the story. Whether, like I said, if it's a huge mystery, if it's something devastating, if it's something impactful, if it's something intriguing, anything, right? Any huge emotion that you can land through your storytelling is what's going to be the thing that intrigues players enough to want to play more of it and want to see it at full development. And right now, the story is very weak. The design is it's amazing. I like the art. Like I said, it's great. The character designs, I actually don't mind them. I actually really like them. I do. I like that hers is very simple. I like Pepe's design. A little bit more different, right? Not too exaggerant of like the whole robot aspect, but not too exaggerant of like, oh, super bright and colorful, my eyeballs. But actually good. It actually kind of fits the setting this game is. The guy that we see sitting here, he's more robot head and everything. But it works. It works for the setting that's kind of going here. And I think that's actually well done. My complaints are the story and the sounds. That goes for sound effects and also music. I don't really think there's music. And I didn't mess with any of the sound settings. So every sound setting that you can hear now, which I mean, it's low on OBS, so you guys hear it extremely low, but there was like music scenes and everything that I had that the music really covered up a lot of other sounds in the way that they were all cut abruptly. And if there is music elsewhere going on, it's so incredibly low that you can't hear it all and everything. It could very well be placeholders and such. But one of the things I really liked in Valhalla was the music. I have the soundtrack. I listen to it in my car every single time. I love the soundtrack to it because it brings back memories in the game that I remember. And because of that. It was just music that I would just randomly start playing, but I would start to remember it. I remembered the ending music very, very well. I remember the startup music very, very well. It was just great. It was very, very impactful, and that's why I realized that that's why I like the music so much. Not that it's actual. There's like 2 or 3 songs in there that I actually really, really enjoy listening to, but would it really be the music that I would listen to most of the time? No, not really. I like violin, kind of piano music kind of things, but it's just more because it brings back memories from the games, and I get reminded of them. I'm like, oh yeah, and that's how it makes a connection to me. So. And makes it impactful. And that's where I think with this game, they could do that. They could improve the music, make it more unique setting, and different things like that. Could actually make it even more intriguing, have the whole, typical cyberpunk kind of music playing, but then maybe in the more emotional scenes, have it to where it sounds like a instrumental, but not so much. How would I describe cyberpunk music? I mean, we know it, like retro sounding kind of music, right? But then you shift it to, like, if I was literally grabbed an instrument and started playing it in front of the microphone without any reverb or changes to it or anything like that. And like that in itself is how you play with sound. And playing with sound in video games, let me tell you, tells a lot. It tells a lot to a story. Sound designs are very well done. Music, how to do music in video games, that's how you can do music in video games, is change the tone of it depending on what is going on. And you can make a complete 180 in the type of music like I kind of explained, right? Make it to something like that where you have the really emotional, more human feeling scenes and have them sound like that instead of like your typical cyberpunk kind of music playing, to really make that impact of if you're trying to go with these robots feeling more human kind of sense, and that question and that whole topic, if that's where the story is going kind of feeling. So that's just some thoughts there, right? That's just a little bit of intrigue there. I would just say that for sound, you want to focus on some of the music aspects. I think that's something you could play around with that. The speech bubble text thingy, I don't know. I just didn't really care for it. I don't know why. It just kind of sounded like a placement sound rather than anything else. Could it be adjusted? Sure. Could it do without it? I think it kind of helps with the tone, but I think honestly, kind of don't need it. You might just even be fine without it. It feels like just like an added in sound that was put in afterwards, like a lot of these other sounds. And maybe it was. Maybe a lot of these sounds were sounds that were just added in quickly, right, to try to add more to the atmosphere and such. But that would be a big thing. Sound and storytelling would be the 2 biggest things that I would say need to be adjusted to this. Gameplay wise, I honestly think you're fine. I said this is kind of more of a visual novel game. I actually kind of like the gameplay. The problem is when you're writing a story with a little bit more gameplay elements like this, and you're trying to keep the player's attention to what's going on while also working on some of this item stuff, right? So that, I say you're up for a little bit more of a challenge because of that. And I'm not just saying because I'm going to be scattering all over the place. I'm saying it more of a sense of to make the player feel more of the emotions and more of what they are reading while at the same time moving around. Because it's not like somebody else is voicing over the stuff while they're working on things, right? Let's say most games, you're shooting enemies from afar, you're fighting enemies, but the characters are still talking with each other, so you get to hear their emotions and all those different scenes, right? That's why you have cutscenes a lot in video games, is because you want to make the players pay attention to what is being said. And sometimes when they're so focused on fighting and everything, they sometimes just tune out what's happening to the dialogue and focus more onto the fighting scene. So especially in a game like this, is it's very heavy storytelling. I would say that needs to be a little adjusted. And maybe all it needs to be done is just showing your own character's emotions a little bit better through it, because I don't see it. I don't. She's such a blank slate to me that it's sad. I'm sad for her. All right, I'm sad. Pigtails, smoker. No. I'm looking at Jill, and Jill's sad. But yeah, like I said, I think those two, and as it being a playtest, you do have the advantage that you can use this opportunity to change things and release as an update, to change the way that things are being talked about, things are being described in the story. Maybe change up the beginning a bit, maybe change the way the dialogue is. Maybe that's all you have to do, is just change the dialogue a little, and maybe that is all that's needed, right? Just change the dialogue. Maybe it's the music, maybe it's the sound, maybe just change that up, and oh my god, everything changes so much more kind of idea. Like I said, look at pirates. I know this is like a completely different topic, but look at pirates. There was zero dialogue in the beginning. A lot of it was the music and the sounds of the waves, right? It was the sounds of the waves. It was the stomp of his boots. It was the splashing of the water. It was the music that was playing, the intense, the good old classic music. That's, you hear it and you go, that's Pirates of the Caribbean kind of music, right? The way that was all portrayed, it was beautiful. It's perfect. It's such an amazing, impactful introduction to a character. And it's well done. It's very, very well done. And a lot of it is sound and music. It's very heavy on sound and music. And yeah, it has the shots, right? It has the different shots and the different angles that they do it from, and that does also leave different impacts. But a huge part of it is the sounds and the music for it, which play around with that. Use that a little bit more. See what that does. Kind of like when I say, when we're talking with, like, you hear people voice acting for something, right? Sorry, my voice is starting to go out from talking for so much. When you hear somebody voice act for something, and they don't add different, like, levels to their tones when they're talking, or even, like, if I'm talking now, right? It's why you do hear me shift in volume when I'm starting to talk, because I'm trying to grab your attention and not just speaking at a normal tone repeatedly and keeping talking like this, and you just go over and over and try to just discuss things like this in the same tone of voice, to where you're not really paying attention to me. It just sounds like I'm talking in a very monotone sense, and it doesn't intrigue you so much. To where if I keep fluctuating my voice and changing it repeatedly in the way that I speak, it brings you back into attention, because I'm not just speaking straight, right? Kind of that sense, Speakers 101. Ever taken those classes? Now they say to speak, Say, change it up a little bit, make it more intriguing, because we have such a short attention spans kind of thing. So that's where that kind of feels with a little bit here, where you change the sounds to things. It really makes an impact for how things are being delivered kind of idea. And like I said, you also have to keep in mind the people reading these stories are most likely going to be reading them inside of their head, so they're not going to be acting them out fully, right? So that will be the key, the big key to all of it, is how you deliver it yourself, which is hard, right? Which is really, really hard. So the developers for this game, you are just dived headfirst into what I would say is probably one of the harder genres in video games, because it is very, very reliant on one trait more than anything else in video games. I will have to say so. But those are my thoughts for it. That's my thoughts for the game. It's not perfect, but I'm also not saying that it's doomed. It's terrible and it's never going to be fixed. Obviously, it can be adjusted. This is my personal opinions for how I feel about this. I given my comparisons to it, and they're not fair comparisons, but it's what I've played beforehand. I'm not super big into the whole visual novel scene, even though Valhalla has forever changed my view for many things. Damn cucumbers. But, God, and that's just another thing I will say. Even if you're trying to follow Valhalla, I know how I said the main character was difficult, but if you're trying to have a character that is already dead and trying to make them extremely impactful, my God, good luck. Because I have never seen a character like that before through one story and only, and not from like multiple trilogies and all sorts of things that have such an impact to a story in such a short amount of time. And I just, good luck. I don't know how the Valhalla developers managed to do that, but oh my God, good luck if you are planning to do something like that. Because that's what I was kind of feeling with the sister. And if that is the case, I have zero things to say for that, because I don't know how that was done with Lenore for Valhalla. I don't know. I really do not know. You can analyze that as much as you want, but oh. That was a whole other thing that I was just shocked upon. But like I said, these are my own thoughts about it. As someone who loves Valhalla so much, and who sees this game and loves robots, loves the whole idea of it being a surgeon, a doctor, and all sorts of things, makes that really intriguing to me. And it's in this style, and it was also said to be heavily inspired by Valhalla. I'm very intrigued. I want to see this. I really do. Even from my gameplay of it. Even though I do have my own disappointments, like I said, it's not something I'm like, okay, and then, I will move on to some other things. No, I'm still gonna push for this, because I want to see another update. Give me updates. Show me more of what you can do. Show me more of what you can change, and how far are you willing to go to make this beautiful? Tell me, what are you willing to give up? No. No. I will not be so easily swayed, alright? I will not. Like I said, I'm probably also very critical on the story, because to me, stories in video games are probably the most beautiful and most impactful things and important things to me in a video game is the story. If I'm playing it for the story. If I'm playing a scary game, that just depends on the sound design for me. Sound design is everything in a scary game, because I don't care what the story is. Sound design, ooh, you get me. But I really like stories. Very well done. I always like stories in a video game. I think it's amazing to me of the different ways I've seen stories be done. I mean, we range from all that I played on stream has opened my eyes to so many different ways stories that can be told, from Mass Effect to Amori to Valhalla to Elden Ring. All sorts of different ways, right? Stories through picking up items, stories through actual dialogue, stories that were honestly more referencing things to real life, but were in a dream state kind of things. Stories that were from a first-person point of view, and also learning about said person you are watching through their eyes from, in all different ways. And I got to experience a lot of different stories from my time streaming. About 4.5 years now, going on a half. Been doing this for a long time, I'd say. So for me, like I said, this is a game that is going to very much heavily rely on storytelling, because that is what a visual novel game really is. I mean, we all know the other types of visual novel games. I don't think this game is trying to go in that direction. If it is, please no. Please, I beg of you. No, don't do this. But storytelling. How you give your characters. And the big way to tell a story is, of course, by the characters that you have in it, because they're the main actors in the stage. They're the ones who are enacting every story that you gotta say. So the characters themselves are very, very important. So it's expectation wise stream. I don't have no I don't at all. You guys are just telling lies. Poor developer of this game is gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna disregard everything she has to say. But yeah, so anyways. I just hear my pug. Can you guys hear it? Did you guys hear my pug? I don't know if the microphone picked that up. I mean, I could hear it, but I don't know if you guys heard that. Oh, it's great. The screams. Among all sides opinions. Shima do. Shima has all opinions. Her strange noise, did it sound like because if so, then yes, that was my pug. Welcome to a pug screaming. You guys got to hear it? Combined brain going. Yeah. Love her, she's great. You know what? Developers. Listen. If you add a pug to the game, you don't need to do anything else. You don't need to do anything else. Just add a pug to the game and that's it. You win. You've made the greatest game ever. And I will speak across the whole world about this game if you add a pug to the game. That's it. All you need to add. That's it. You've won. Got it? Good. But yeah. But anyways. I don't know if anyone else has any words they want to say or anything to discuss about this game. I feel like I went on a lot of tangents. Instead of more of a discussion, this was a Fatum discussing to herself. I apologize. I was just a bit more passionate than I thought it was going to be. She's a robot like that. Oh, no, that would make me sad. That would make me sad. You know how Valhalla had Shibas? All the broken parts can have pugs. There you go. You'd one up Valhalla already. Novels to begin with. I see. Fewer opinions than you. And I'm not, like I said, I'm really not usually the visual novel kind of player. Like, to actually, if I were to play any of these, okay, a lot of the games that we played on stream are games I probably would have never played, but it's because it's for streaming. It's very different. And sometimes, like I said, ran into Valhalla. I thought that was a gem. I will forever talk about that game so much because of how much I just absolutely love that game. It's a game that I would never have played before, but there we go. Same thing with Amori. Never really was do RPG games like that. My god, was it so sad? Tears running down my face. Into a pug form? No, the pug. Ugh. I'm so tired. I don't know why I've been... I know exactly why I've been so tired. And you know, talking for about like 2.5 hours straight. No, I mean, like a good 17 minutes was reading from the beginning part. And like a little bit of introduction. Oh my god, I can hear my voice giving out there. But yeah. It's interesting. I have my headphones off. I've been having my headphones off this entire time, which is different because then I get to actually hear my voice a bit better than from whatever the game is blasting loud in my eardrums. I can hear the different tones of voice that I shift to. This is more of like my usual tone of voice. I'm just speaking this way. But then I also kind of talk like this. And this is more of my streaming tone. I was hearing it right now. I was like, wait a second. That sounds odd to me. What's going on? From going straight from the Well, no, like I said, I'm curious. I'm curious, developers. I'm not turned away from this game. I'm not. I want to see more. I want to see more. I don't want this to fall off. Please don't. I need more. I need more Valhalla. I need something. I miss Valhalla so damn much. Even on my knee. I really do. I miss it a lot. Found Turbo Pug. Oh god. But yeah, so anyways. This was all in broken parts. If you haven't checked out the game and you don't know what I'm talking about, or you want to check out the game now that you've heard everything I had to talk about, and then later on, or if you're watching this in the future, and I have something to say, go put it in the touchy who's wait. No, I forgot about the Bang Boo. I forgot about the Bang Boo. Don't touch my Bang Boo. Why was that a thing in Zenless 1-0? What happened that I started saying that? One of the characters were talking about Eos or something, right? And I think Belle was like, "Don't touch my Bang Boo," and ever since then, don't touch my Bang Boo. Great. And then vroom. Only those of you that have been here for a while. I haven't played Zenless 1-0, even on my own in a hot minute. Those of you that were here in the beginning of the year, late night streams. Was it in the beginning of the year? I think so. God, to think that's already almost been a year now from all those. I can't believe it. I still can't. It really feels like we're midway. Like, okay, we're just midway there to the end of the year. 2026? Still got about midway through. Please, Spike. But yeah, no, so that's my thoughts on all our broken parts. I'm not turned away from this game. If you're watching this from the future and you're hearing all of this, if you want to discuss it, go let the developers know your thoughts about it. Go put it in the comment section for this stream, after the stream. If you're watching this live, you can't access comments right now. It's impossible. You have to talk in the live chat if you want to talk, but only after it's gone live, so, which is an interesting thing. I guess they want people to engage more in the live chat than rather just blowing up the comment section. Or it's because we don't know if it's going to be archived, so then I would think maybe that would be it. Sorry, I'm going into a whole different rabbit hole about things work. Never mind, we're fine. We get off of that train of thought. But yeah, no, just give thoughts, alright? That's what the developers need. They need thoughts, they need ideas. It's a playtest, alright? They want to hear people's opinions. I think they want to hear people's opinions. I would think so. I want to hear people's opinions, want to hear what you guys have to say, what they could improve on, thoughts onto the game, of course. And like I said, developers, even if I know you're gonna hear a lot of positives and negatives from the playtest and everything, and I know it sucks to hear the negative parts. It really do. It do suck to hear the negative parts because you put so much work and effort into them, and you hear the negative parts, you're like, well, no, it's your fault. I get it, okay? I really do. I understand. It hurts to hear the negative part. It's just heartbreaking. You're just like, but I gave it my all, and I get it. It hurts. It does. It really does, but people just have different outlooks of things. People have different perspectives on things and such, and from my chat, somebody else has less opinions than I do. I have more opinions, and it's just different ways of things and different ways of seeing games and what's important to different players and those sorts of things like that. So you're not going to please everybody, right? Of course you're not. It's impossible. You're not going to please everybody. But what you can do is listen to the advice that intrigues you. Is this your first time making a game, especially maybe something like this? Maybe you have made a game before, but it seems like with this project, it might be one of your first. Play around with these ideas. Play around with them. Just give them a shot. You can be angry while that happens. It's terrible to hear somebody say that I didn't like this. This didn't evoke this emotion. You're like, I was crying writing this. And maybe you have different things that you're trying to focus on. Maybe you're trying to focus on the AI, but emotions are really important to invoke into the player by the impact that is done to the characters. It's very, very heavy in how that will be related to things, will be how the characters react to some things. And sometimes it's not all the case, right? Maybe just like the arrogance of how one character sounds, you're just like, what? Feeling? But I just play around with the ideas. Give them a shot. See what they're about. Try it around. Like I said, some things will fit perfectly. Some things won't. Maybe something that fit nicely beforehand doesn't fit well anymore. Shift it around. Take advantage of the playtest. Announce an update. Announce an update on the Steam page. And say, hey, this is updated for the playtest. Try this out. Check this out. Kind of idea. No nerds allowed. Oh yeah, I can see it. I can see it. Are you sure? I thought like no bandits allowed. The bandit mask. But yeah, just play around with the ideas. So it's like I said, some things are gonna fit perfectly, some things aren't, some things will be adjusted. Maybe you have an idea for something already, but it's just like a slight tweak. Like I said with the example that the developers had talked about with the whole thing with Lenore and Gabby. They changed Gabby from being the older sister to being the little tiny sister. And that worked way better in the story. It fit better to them, and also it fits better to the players, where nobody's looking at Gabby and being like, really? But now it makes sense because she's a kid. So it's like, I can't blame you. Poor kid kind of idea. And little things that just shift. The little things to shift that honestly will work better. And just try them. Use the playtest to your advantage. Give out the ideas like that. Try out the ideas. See how they fit. Get the feedback from other people and see what they have to say about things. To me, like I said, it's just the story and the sounds. The sound can... you maybe just one needs to be adjusted and then the other one's fine. It's just placeholders for now until more is developed. Or maybe it's both that needs to be fixed. Just depends, right? She was just upset with Joe. I mean, yeah, it could have been, but I guess that's the way they wanted to portray. And I mean, come on. Who here can't love Gabby, alright? Everybody loves Gabby. She is the best little sister in the world, alright? I feel like I feel a certain redhead turned white-haired charging after me. And now I'm fearful. But yeah, I think like you said, it could have worked, right? They could have changed the reaction and stuff like that, and it could have worked. But this is the way that the story ended up going. It actually fit perfectly the way that they had wanted to portray each of the characters and how that interacted with things. And I mean, look at it. How perfectly it lined up with Alma's story, right? Alma was just talking about her niece and nephew, how they had been abandoned by her sister, and how that whole situation she had with her sister and all that. And that's why Alma gets on Jill's case, because she's like, don't you dare! Because, of course, she's obviously more defensive to something like that, since having a similar to experience and then seeing Jill almost kind of repeat the same thing, that's what made Alma very upset. But even though they're very, very close friends, but for Alma, that's what made her upset, right? So it made sense for her, kind of idea. And so that, it honestly even worked better with having Gabby younger, right? And who knows, maybe that Alma thing, they adjusted her story later on so it would fit better with Jill. Maybe because they made Gabby younger, they're like, oh, on the story. Oh my god, that's perfect. That lines up well. All right, or maybe that was already planned for. I don't know. That's the way of thinking. But like I say, you have these little things you shift, and then suddenly the puzzles fit. And you're like, oh my god, I'm a genius. I've had those experiences a lot with my AMVs, all right? I've had so many of those experiences. I understand that. It's like, oh, this is beautiful. I've had those where I do like little victory dance afterwards, and you just see it play, and it's just beautifulness playing, and you just do a little dance, and all happy, just like, yeah. I get it. So yeah, just play around with your story, play around how you say it. I would say gameplay wise, you're fine. I don't really think you need a. I mean, if you want to change it up for each character, sure, go ahead. But I think what's really gonna sell your game is the story. It's gonna be the story. Ultimately, at the end of the day, this is a visual novel. What is visual novels for? In the name, novel, and you take advantage of the visual novel. Take advantage. Use the visuals. Use it. You're not like stuck on a book where you're just relying on your words and descriptions. You have visuals. Take advantage of them, kind of idea. Up to you, right? It's your game. Play around with it. See what it is. Some people will like it. Some people will like, oh my god, you made this worse. Or some people will be like, oh my god, this change was amazing. You're never gonna please everyone, but figure out what sounds intriguing to you. What sounds like, you know what, let me try this. I like what this person had to say. I like what this person had to say. Or I hate what this person had to say. I'm gonna try the complete opposite. And oh my god, it worked. You don't know. Just give it a shot. See what happens. Yeah. That's really all I have to say about this. It's like a bad attempt. Sylvan blankets like a pug searching for a biscuit in a full laundry basket. Oh, it's so cute. Please everyone without attitude. If you try to please everyone, all you're going to do is you're going to make yourself feel disappointed. Because if you try to please everyone, you're only going to get further from something that you really want the project to become. So that's something you have to be very, very careful about, is don't make it into you just do something over and over and over that everybody else wants, and make sure it still sticks to the core of something that you want, but it doesn't prove it, right? It is very important that you first are pleased with what you make. Don't just make it to where, oh my god, you okay, Marky? He's turned into a honker right now. Thank you, boy. I know it's hot in here, boy. It's very hot. I'm dying. But yeah. But anyways, that's my thoughts for that. Too many shows make a worse soup for a reason. Exactly. You could say you're gonna make a carrot soup, and then suddenly it becomes celery, and now it just tastes like water. Oh my god, are you okay? Sure, you fine, my boy? Oh my god, he has a little goatee under his chin. Oh, the way his hair came out. My old man. You're the best boy. You're my best boy. You're the only boy I love. You're so cute. So cute. You're just adorable. You're so cute. You're just my little handsome boy. I'm a hippie. And then your goatee, it's adorable. It's like all curled too. It's like all curled forward. You know how it's like curled and like a hook. What did you do? I don't know what he did. You're so adorable. You're so fluffy too. He has his hair growing out again. You're so cute. You like those rubs? They feel good. They feel really good. You do, huh? I'm sorry, guys. I can't resist. He's my best boy. Just a stupid evil goatee. You want to make me with facial hair? Why? You know I hate facial hair. I don't like facial hair. So I was talking with my father, and he hadn't shaved in a minute. So there he goes, it was all rubbing my cheek, and I was just like, no. It's all rough. I don't like it. Very uncomfortable. It's terrible. I don't like facial hair. Just anger everybody. But like, but my mustache and my beard, no. No. Just make yourself look really old. Like a caveman. I'm sorry, I'm mean. Look terrible. So unkempt. sorry. Actually maintained well one. No, I hate facial hair. Look, it's different when it's my boy, okay? My boy can get away with everything, and he will look adorable. Alright? My boy is the only boy I love. Because he's so cute. Oh, and his little soft kisses, too. Like, you know how dogs, when they give you kisses, it's like the most frantic thing. His are just... And it's the cutest thing ever. They're just so gentle and so slow. Like, everything else he does is so slow. You're just adorable. My Brillo pad? I have no idea what a Brillo pad is. Like, good beards actually maintain well ones. I don't know. You know the ones, like, they have, like, the monocle, and then they have the fedora on, and they have that mustache, or even if it's like a Western movie and they have like that mustache that comes around and then curls around at the ends, right? And the curls there. Like, I'm not even gonna say like they're like, okay, those look cool. No, they just look so silly. But it's fascinating how they get it done. But it just looks so silly. But I don't know. Any kind of facial hair just looks... I don't like them. And then again, I'm not into men, so... maybe that's part of it, but, you know... Big beers. Cheer for a long time. Oh, I see. I know, how much poop is probably in there? I'm sorry! I won't destroy everybody with that fact again. I'm sorry. Over there screaming with my I'm sorry, Marky. I'm sorry. Oh, it's like the same thing with like a hairy chest or ugh, no. I hate it. Like hairy armpits. Oh, I just don't like hair, I guess. Except on the head. I have hair on the head, good. Hair anywhere else, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Look. Maybe it's, like I said, maybe it's just because I'm not into men, alright? Alright. We all know this. Maybe that's the reason, okay? Right. Right, Marky boy. Right, boy. You're so cute. He's the only one who can get away with hair all over his body, alright? And be absolutely adorable. And so cute. And my favorite boy. Fun fact, Marky's the only boy dog I have. Well, he has his brother. But he's not mine. But, my pugs are all girls. And Vanny's a girl. And Toka's a girl. I think she's a girl. We've learned how to check for her, and we can never tell. We just don't know if it's hidden under all her fur, but we think she's a girl. Because you're supposed to, like, feel on their stomach and kind of, like, press down, and that's how you're supposed to know. We never felt anything, so we assume she's a girl. And then she has, like, that double chin that's supposed to be, like, the female rabbits have. For all of that, so... I swear my rabbit's not fat. I swear she's not. A Squatch is not rescue pugs. Or red. Well, we got them. One of them, she was it was kind of sad because the person was like, we need to get rid of this pug because we can't have them. They hadn't had that many pugs. One of them gave birth, and it was a whoopsie moment. And so we're telling us about it, and I was like, I mean, I have Shima, and I was like, yeah, I can. And so she was a little baby, and so we got but she's so sweet. She's so cute. She's so dumb, but she's so cute. She turned out well. I was a little worried that Shima wasn't gonna care for her, because Shima has very much an attitude. She's just a grumpy old lady. But no, they're good. So I'm like, okay, that's good. Clean their faces, and get belly rubs. They're like vacuums anytime I spill food while trying to cook. It's always the terrifying part. It's like, oh, I dropped something and it's like instantly gone. I'm like, God dang it. Neither they are bread. Actually, you're not wrong. They are either potatoes or bread, depending on how they're feeling at the moment. Sometimes they'll just look like mashed potatoes, or they suddenly just become a loaf of bread. But anyways, I'm sorry if you love mustaches and beards and all that and sideburns. Make sure you wash them really, really good, okay? I'm sorry. Alright, stop. I won't go to the topic again. I won't make everybody gross out again. Dong being a loaf of bread. They're all the same. Every single one of them is the same. One of my cousins, she doesn't live here anymore, but I remember the first time she saw Chima. She was just so excited. She's like, it is like a little, slightly burnt piece of bread. He was like, my loaf of bread. That's where originally I got the loaf from, and I was like, that's a good idea. You're right, she is a piece of bread. They're so cute. But anyways, let me switch the scenes. I didn't update the schedule, did I? Nope, I did not. Main menu? Can I select chapter? Oh, how odd. It's in Chinese, so I don't know what that says. Like, the animations here. Let me show you. Look at the animations here. Like, for them walking and everything. It's just the setting here, the leaves, the cars passing by. The train. Like, it's nice. It's really nice. Survey? I'll click on that later. Well, anyways. But yeah. I didn't update the schedule. I will update it later. I'm dying of heat. My back is wet. My room got really, really, really hot right now. Fatum gets to it. I'm sorry, no. I'll be fine. I'll be great. I'll be fine. I'm just, I want to see improvement, okay? I see something really done well, and I just care about it, okay? If I didn't care, look with Nikkei, all right? I stopped caring about it, so therefore that's why I don't do the surveys, because for me, I decided it's just not a game that's for me, and I just don't like how any of it's being done. So that's why I'm not doing the surveys. I guess it's not for me. That's what I've decided, and it's also just a hint that I just, don't really have that much interest and passion for it enough to actually write a survey for it. That's just how I feel with it, okay? It's just my thoughts on it. But with hi boy. He was looking away and suddenly just got in his butt and he's just staring at me. Oh, okay. What are you doing now? No, if you do that, you're gonna hit my microphone, boy. No, you're gonna hit it. Thank you. But yeah, so That's why. That's. I write a story because I care about the story and I want to see where it goes. If I don't write one, I don't care about it. Are you living in a sauna? Oh my god. For some reason, the air turned off and I don't know why. I gotta figure out what's going on. My computer just likes to turn my room into an oven. Just like nice and slowly roasting us all. Somehow Toka's always fine. I think because she's far away from it, so she never gets toasty. But anyways. Slow roast of fun. Anyways, so for next stream will be on Monday. Maybe we'll do a late night stream or not. I'm kind of working on some stuff in the background. Part of the reason why I've been so tired. I've been stressing and working on them and getting my brain juices flowing real good, and just it drains me so bad. I just get to my bed and just collapse on it and poof, there I go. So I don't know if late night stream. If so, I would hope so. I like to just chill and pick up some more Honkai story. Honkai? Yes, Honkai. Honkai story. Just like proof. Oh, poof. My eyeballs are so blurry right now. Poof. Yeah, just like poof. Just plop on bed and poof. Sleep. Hong Kong. I like to do that. Or shoot things. I don't know. I miss Valorant again. I've been trying to pick up my guitar again and wanting to play that again. I had dropped it because that's when I was working on my model things. Spoilers for that. And around the time that I was picking up the guitar and learning it, I was also working on this model and something else. And that's when I was like, I need to choose one or the other. So then I chose this one. Boy, you're dying. Sitting on me is not helping you. Come on. Go drink water. Oh. Everything's so wet. Oh. Then I after dropping it like that. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure I had a lot of dust on it. So I like to pick up that thing again, but probably after I finish working on what I'm doing. So we'll see. We'll see if I can catch some free time to go into stuff like that. But let me adjust the schedule quick. It's not hard to do. Why aren't you wearing glasses? I don't know. I wasn't expecting to read stuff. So I was like, okay, I don't need my glasses. I'm fine. I'm just going to read chat. That's not so hard to do, but I don't know. I think I'm just tired. I'm just exhausted. 9, 10, 11. Oh, I can't stream this day. Forgot. I think I can stream the other days. 11, 12, 13, 14, 14. I think 15 will be fine. I think those are the days. Because 11, 12, 13, yeah. So, as you can see, I'm not streaming on Wednesday. I got something to go do on Wednesday. Unless that changes. But just stuff on that day. And I think next week, the week after that one, I don't think I have anything until the athlete or after stream. So I should be fine. But yeah, so just a heads up about that. I can't stream. Why do I feel like super? Oh, I know what I did. But like, why am I backing up like that? Like my body's moving. What the heck did I do? What setting? Was it because I was leaning back in my chair? Like, I feel extra bouncy, right? Am I extra bouncy? Am I extra bouncy? Did I mess with something? The times I mess with things when can barely keep my eyes open, and I'm like, I'm gonna mess with things right now. It's not a good idea, but I do. It's probably one of the times I messed with something, and I was like, this works, and then I'm like, what the heck did I do? Look, I get a lot of things done when I'm like half asleep for some reason. My brain at night just rewires itself, and it's like I am awake, and I will do everything that needs to be done now. From this game, I'm not, look, I'm not, we're not giving up on this game. I have hopes for it, alright? It's not terrible, it's not unredeemable, I believe in the ability of the developers, alright? I believe, just listen to the feedback. Take what you want to do. Transform it however you want to. I wouldn't say, let's just run with it. I wouldn't. Unless they have something up their sleeves and it's going to be legendary. But I believe in the developers to be able to do this. It's a weird pun. But... look, my eyeballs are very blurry. You'll be bouncy. I am bouncy. You're very bouncy. But anyways. I think I don't have anything else to say. I just realized you can see my bottom teeth. Jeez. I didn't know you could see my bottom teeth. That's creepy. I didn't know you could. Oh, depending on how some things go, maybe next year we'll finally be able to get into some VR stuff. I was hoping for this year, but unfortunately, something's kind of happened to where I kind of don't want to strain myself too badly. In case, like, if I need to bend and duck and move around like that, I kind of need to be a little careful. So hopefully, definitely next year, we'll be able to get some VR things done. Working on that setup and all that, and checking out the 3D modeling and all that. I think it's... I just remember how I mentioned I had to wipe my VR. So finally, everything's getting installed again. So now I just need to transfer, I'm hoping, the right VRM's file and everything, and yeah, maybe we'll get into some VR games, which should be fun, making them spooky and such. So yeah, so we'll see with that. Maybe it will definitely next year. Don't expect it this year. I need to get some things fixed. So I wouldn't even say early next year. Maybe I'll try to see if I can, like, if I can actually have the capability of doing such a thing next year early, but probably won't be till maybe, April maybe? So just a heads up about that. I haven't forgotten about VR. I want to do VR. I do. I want to try out some VR stuff, especially now that I think I have, can make it fun with an actual model into it instead of just so different things and stuff like that. I have to wait till next year. Yeah, I have some issues I have to get fixed, unfortunately. So I won't want to accidentally make it worse before I can get it fixed. So hopefully once it's all fixed and everything, we won't have any issues. So yeah. So hopefully, by April for sure. Hopefully, if everything goes well, April I'll be fine. And we can get to some fun stuff. If not April, I say April, but maybe I'm pushing myself too early. I don't know how long it's all gonna take. But definitely next year. Definitely next year we'll get to some. I might, like I said, I might try it once I can get it all situated and such. I might, be a bad Fatum and try it and see if I'm okay. And I'm not dying in the middle of the stream or after the stream. So we'll see how some things end up working out and things. But I would like to get into VR again. That was fun. We need I want to play like different VR games and things. It'd be fun to play them. Have some good old times with those. Try out like different spooky ones. We can do some funny, silly ones and all that kind of stuff. You can just sit for? Probably, but I don't know. Those ones seem so fun. Like, yeah, I can sit for them and things, but I mean, come on. The whole point of VR is just seeing my model just absolutely dying on the floor. Right? So now what everybody wants to see is just death. So, probably then and stuff. So, hopefully, I'll be all good then to be able to. But yeah, and then other than that, I do have something coming soon this year that we're gonna try out. It's different and not so different, but just something just to get a little shot for and see how that kind of ends up going. Just some idea. So we'll see. But yeah, I honestly we're just chilling for the rest of this year. I don't have any huge project plans or anything like that. So. And then, hey, in the beginning of next year, we can pick up the last Mass Effect game, like we've been doing every year. Pick up the last one from that. I don't know if you guys had noticed that I was waiting to play Mass Effect till next year, like I'd been doing. So we'll play that. I have some things planned of like what we're gonna play and stuff. Like around this time of year is the last time we had played Friday Night Freddy's 4, I think. So of course we're gonna pick up Sister Location, which I'm excited for, because the whole trailer for the movies came out too. I mean, it would be fitting if I played 2, but I never play anything fitting. So I want to play Sister Location. I'm excited. Mass Effect 3: Revenge of the Farmers. Or I become the farmer. I am the farmer. The huge reveal. I was actually the damn farmers. Oh, the tragedy. The entire time. Everything I was fighting was myself. But yeah, so I have some things planned in the works and stuff like that. I have no idea what to do for the 5th anniversary. Look, I know it's the big old 5, and I was a little jumpy with the new model presentation. Look, I've been development for a long time. I couldn't resist. I don't know what to do for the big old 5 years. I have no idea. Maybe one day the Bear Adventures continue. Maybe eventually we'll get to that again. Oh, God. Anyways. This was discussion of all our broken parts. Developers, if you're watching this, or if you eventually see this, I'm so sorry. Everything I was just saying and all of that is not to bring you down. But I just speaking as somebody who loves video games, who loved Valhalla so much and heard about this and misses that game so very much, and heard a lot about from this game and how you guys were inspired about it and all sorts of stuff, and really liking the style and the mechanic for the game too as well. Like I said, I like medical things, all right? Robots, oh my god. So I speak from somebody who is excited for the game and would love to see it become amazing, really. I love to see it to the best of your guys' abilities. And if you want to use their advice, like I say, you don't have to. You're not obligated to use people's advices and things for such. I mean, a lot of us are just people who've played the games but never actually made a game. So, especially a visual novel kind of sense. But if you want to and just play around with ideas, go ahead. But if I made you feel absolutely terrible, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. I just speaking from somebody who has a passion for development and characters and how they are written and seeing that to fruition. I just oh, I didn't mean to be so critical. I'm sorry. But I would love to see it. I would love to see it with all of your ideas and see how it comes to in the end. So if you make more play tests, I will be happy to play it. I if you want to hide it from me, that's fine. It's completely understandable. But I would love to see more work done and see what you guys work on. My throat is finally giving out on me. Apparently I learned tea, honey, and lemon apparently helps soothe my throat, so probably a mixture I'm gonna take. Help my throat, help it. So, yeah. But anyways, though. No Fatums allowed. Look, okay. I love the style of your game. I do. I love the style. I love the artwork for it. It's really, really great. I like your designs. Those are great. Okay? I do. I'm excited for it. I want to see what you guys get done. I do. But anyways, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Ah, my wrist just popped. Ah! But anyways. Trying to get my wrist pop again. It's doing it a lot right now, so I was like, oh, here. I'll just... It pops a lot. My wrist pops a lot. My shoulder pops a lot. Some other things pop a lot, though. It's problematic. But... I'm so old. My bones and joints are dead. Have to bear with your criticism. I need a bear hat. I need a pops a lot. I do pop a lot. Look. But I need a bear hat. I do. Anytime I'm going to talk about something, I just need to put a bear hat and just you guys just holding up a sign of just be aware. She's very opinionated. I'm sorry. Like I said, I know how terrible it is to hear these things, and like especially when you put your heart and soul into it, and then you hear people say this, and it's just like it makes you feel terrible, and it makes you feel like you're not good enough to do it, and now you have these expectations, and you're like, oh, I'm not good enough to do it, and I like it, and I get it, but listen and keep going. The text developers fear me. Happens you're playing Astral Party. I'll also play Astral Party. Probably be this Saturday. As long as nothing happens, we'll play Astral Party. As long as nothing happens. So, that will be then. You're part of Believer. I believe it's tiers in the membership. Astral Party. Saturday. As long as nothing happens, We'll be good. We'll play that. I almost just decided to click stop streaming without saying anything else. My brain was just like, I'm dying of heat. Come on. Nothing is rapidly approaching. I'm sure everything is fine. You know what I wanna do a stream of? Sorry, I got distracted. I'm so sorry. I got distracted. I just zoned into something else completely. I just lifted my head and I was like, oh yeah, wait, hold on. I was streaming still. I don't even remember what I was talking about before. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Oh my god. I didn't mean to. I did not mean to. Oops. Oops. I just look, I was focusing and I was gonna pull out my list for stream and then I saw a text message and I was like, who the heck is messaging me right now? What's going on? And then I started reading everything they said and I was just zoned in on it and my brain was just thinking and I was like, well, no, they need to change that. That was wrong. Wait, no, that's wrong. I don't know. Wait. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was wrong. I was wrong. Okay, I'll give you some context. Basically, a family member texted me, hey, I decided I'm gonna make a PowerPoint on what everybody likes for Christmas thingy. And so they sent me like, here's your slide. Was that correct? It adjusted and all that. And I was reading it and I was like, okay, I like, okay. Every time I've seen her, I always am like in the baggiest of clothing, but it's because I know it's gonna be hot outside, so I don't want anything to be sticking to me close because I know it's gonna be hot and I don't want it to be stuck to me. And so I was like, okay, no, it's the only time, but I normally don't. I've been better. I don't wear just baggy clothing. I've actually been wearing more fitting clothing and such. So I'm normally like a small, right? I'm a small size, but like when I'm wearing baggy clothing, it's always like a medium. So I just thought of their like clothing, and I was like, oh god, everything I'm about to get is just gonna be the baggiest thing in the world. And so the same thing for like, oh, if for like a coat or something large, I'm like, and I'm gonna be drowning in that coat. Thank you. I was just thinking about that. That's what I was reading, and I was like, should I correct this or should I not? I got zoned in onto that, and then I was really just zoned in all the way into that. I was like, how could she? Anyways, I'm sorry. I got distracted by that. I just completely zoned into that. You really want to stream before the letters attack your brain cells? What did I really want to stream? What did I? I don't remember. I'm trying to recall. I don't remember what I was going to say. I mean, VR games, yeah. Like and subscribe. Yeah. I don't remember. As soon as I remember, I will. I. What is this word of memories? I don't remember. I don't remember. Know what I wanted to say. No. No, I don't. I don't recall. Okay, guys, remind me in the next stream, and maybe I'll remember by then. Okay, next stream happens. I will. I will. I will. Thank you, members, for helping support the stream. Thank you to Believe Us Tears. I appreciate. Thank you guys so much for your help and support. I appreciate a lot. Thank you to Tier 3, Believe It, EH, Thousand and Nathan Citron. Thank you guys so much for your help and support. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. God, thank you. All of you here, thank you. Oh. What? Has anyone really been far even as decided to use even go want to do look more like what? What? Did I just infect everybody else's brain cells? You're welcome. Just gonna curl up and just I'm gonna go lay down. I need to go fix some things, and I just I need to stop. Well, we got Time of Decay to go play later, and then it'll be fine. And then I just go. Why is Lord's message not showing up? Lord, your message just decided to get kicked to the curb. It's not on screen. It's fine. It's fine. Oh, well, there's that one. My nose is itchy again. Why am I dying? Why? Anyways. I remembered! Oh! Why? Okay. I just slapped my leg so hard because, oh my god, ow. Why did I do that? I got so excited. Okay, I remember it. Okay, I remember. So, I want to stream like role-playing games and such. I was kind of seeing some of them, and I was like, those were like they would use like just normal games, like they would use just like Minecraft, or they would just use like like other like multiplayer games. But then like they was like go full into like role playing, like whatever role and stuff like that. And I was just like, that's lit. Can someone edit this section of the stream of just me zoning out completely, forgetting, and then just a moment of silence was like, oh, I don't remember, and then it just clips into that where the slap and then the power goes on. Please, that would be a great edit. But yeah, that's basically what I'm talking about. I go fully into roleplay, even in talking and all that. Like, no, like, and not just like a turn it away and like talking in the chat and then going to, but like with other, that would be fun. I don't know. That's what I was just thinking of. I was watching it, and like I was seeing in VR a lot, and I was like, oh, that would be cool, and different things like that. I don't know. I was just thinking, because I've been wanting to play Minecraft. I've been wanting to play Minecraft for a while now. And like, no, not like a board game. Like, not playing over on a board game. Because, I don't know. Maybe like for a first time role-playing thingy, like fully into it. I don't think roleplay would be a good idea for me. I would go off the rails real fast if it was a board game. It would be so hard for me to fully immerse into that. Look, not because I don't have an imagination, but rather my instant goal would be how to screw everybody else over. And I don't know why, but I tend to be like that when it comes to board games. I don't know why. I've always been like that. It's the reason why I don't play board games. Because I just turn into, like, how do I instantly make everybody else angry? And ruin everything. It's fine. But, I don't know. That's what I was thinking about. I think that would be fun. Sorry. It's just a random idea that I was just going through, and I was just thinking, I was like, oh, Minecraft is fun. I've been wanting to play Minecraft. So I was looking through Minecraft videos, and I was seeing, like, different ones. Like, they would, like, fully roleplay into it, and, like, people would, like, have different roles, and, like, act like the villagers, and all this different stuff. Like, yeah, it's really cool. Anyways. I explained you're bearing a pal. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I did get an allergic reaction to something. Under my eye is poofy, and it's not an eye bag. Huh. Something got me allergic reaction to something. Interesting, that's why. Huh. Well, I better go figure out if I'm okay. Anyways. Anyways. That's why. Better learn how to drive the RV. I have a license, alright? I have a license. And you know what that means. You guys are about to experience my driving skills. I drive a tiny car. So who knows how I'm going to drive a big car. You're developing a fur allergy. Oh, you might be right. It's my allergy to facial hair because of, I'm sorry. Just by talking about it, I'm sorry. I need to stop. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Pull back on that. Okay, let me pull back. I'm sorry. Okay, we're fine. Anyways. I do not have high hopes. Okay, look, the driving in Lethal Company is insane because you have to, like, look at different things. It's not actual, really control with the, and also bouncing in it was not a good idea. And so, that clip, the one with Alan, and he sent it to me, where I'm just bouncing the truck and then it just explodes. Oh, that's great. Hey, at least I didn't run you over, Jinx. I just exploded the thingy. Anyways. Don't drive through. Yeah, but I don't have to look down and manually click a thing. I can have my hand on the steering wheel and also use the shift and braking everything with my feet. Alright, I got multiple limbs to move and not just looking around with the cursor and moving around like that. I can multitask, surprisingly. I drive great. Me and my tiny car, we go amazing. Oh, something in my eye. I can multitask. To explain reason why I'm so exhausted is because some of the things that I've been working on. So, I've been typing up something, brainstorming ideas at the same time while editing some things for stream and editing some other stuff, and at the same time also working on thumbnails, and at the same time working on some private project and stuff, and at the same time just having YouTube videos playing in the background for entertainment. That is how I usually decide to work on things. And yes, it is all being done mostly at the same time. When something else is taking a second to load, I switch to another thing while also working on another thing. I'd split it between the two screens and I can work on them at both sides because I could set my mouse to working on the same thing. And look, I When I'm seriously working on things, I will multitask 100 times. I've also been playing, so I'll be playing Valorant at the same time while getting things done. So anytime I like take a break from brainstorming something, I'll just jump into a Valorant match and then have that working on while having other things playing into the background, and then I'll swift it back to the other way. I'll be like, okay, here we go. Look, everybody. Shh. It's fine. You know, I can't just work on one thing alone and one thing only. My brain gets so bored. I get it so incredibly bored when just having to zone into one thing, and it just, no. I get extremely bored and I just go over the top for that one thing, and I'm like, no, it's too much. I need to go do the other and just combine them, and then there we go. I can split my attention between the two instead of overgo doing one of them. I'm not a wonkadoodle. I'm a perfectly normal functioning human being. I am dying of heat. I should really end stream. Or I am about to be a roasted Fatum. Nice and burnt on all ends. Have you ever got like a weenie? So you get a weenie and then you roast it over the fire, and you know how it turns the black over because it's the burnt ends, but it's like just the skin layer and everything? That's exactly what I will become. I am not. I am a good bear. I'm getting tired. I'm getting sleepy. All right. Well, I did say my thank yous to the members. Everybody who was here. I'm so jittery. What the heck did I do? Look at me. Look how jittery I am. I can't sit still. What is wrong with me? That's not me. I'm actually just leaning my head against my hand right now. And like perfectly still. I've mentioned it before. I can be extremely still, and I've done it before where I was getting a haircut and she had to leave for a while. And so I was just sitting there, and it was a motion detected light thingy. And it turned off because I hadn't moved and from the one spot, and like nothing, no movement, zero, like didn't motion my hand or nothing. And so I turned off, and I was like, oh, that's fine. I don't need to move. Fine, until she comes in here. To where when she finally came back, she was just like, "Are you okay? I thought you fell asleep." It's like, no, I just waiting. Look, I don't have to move. I just can be very still. And then other times I just can't stop shuffling my legs. I was kind of second from all the coffee you have inhaled. I have only had 2 cups of coffee today, alright? That is nothing. I had a whole pot before. Delicious. I want a whole pot of coffee. I just want some coffee again. Anyways. I'll be it for stream. We'll pick up maybe late night stream. Maybe I'll finish up working what I need to. I'm almost done with it also. Hopefully after it's done, I will stop stressing for a bit, and then probably stress again later, and stress more again later, and then it's not stress anymore, and stress more again later, and find something else to stress upon. I am a stress ball, right? I don't say that word that many times. I will never say it again for the rest of the stream. Got it? Just because you call me out on it, I'm never going to say it again. Squeeze you if you're a stress ball? No. I mean, if you want to feel bone just digging into your skin. I got told that. I was like, you're very uncomfortable to squeeze. I was like, oh, why, thank you. You're like, your shoulders dig into me. And I was like, oh, well, thank you. Your ribs are like poking out. Thank you. Not my fault my ribs stick out. It's just how my body is. I don't know why. I'm told I have a bony. I have a great butt, alright? Kidding. I don't know. I haven't been told about my butt. But just from like hugs, there is like, you're digging into me, and I was like, okay, well, thanks. Grip. A strange anatomy. I do have a strange anatomy. I do. Pokey bones and floaty butt. Feels like my shoulders. For some reason, like my shoulders, even though I try to gain muscle on them, they're just bony. I don't know why. And then like my back too, bony. Then my ribs, like my whole upper body is just pretty bony. And then you get to my ribs, and those don't help. I have said I've been told to have a second set of boobs. If I lay on my back, just how it looks in my shirt, I'm like, oh, thanks. Now I'm self-conscious of that. Protein? I do eat protein. I love eating meat. Meat's delicious. I do. Just don't work. I think I've talked about it once. I've tried, like, actually gaining muscle. Like, muscle. And I would push myself so hard, and nothing. Nothing. My arms are like getting pretty toned because of the pool and everything. And then I've been having to keep one of my legs like pretty still because they've been hurting a lot. So I don't swim with my legs. I try to keep them like limp and then just keep moving with my arms. So my arms, good definition muscle, but my shoulders just said, hell no. And we're gonna be bones. And then I have tiny wrists. Like, I have extremely tiny wrists. People try to get me bracelets, and they never fit. I always have to make them fit, like, stick a rubber band around it, or, like, have something thicker and keep it there and, like, keep it tight, and then I'll keep the other one in the back. I'm so sad. I can never just get a bracelet and be like, oh, yeah, it's great, because it will never fit. His wrist is tiny. I don't know why my wrist is tiny. It's not nice. It's never nice. They're like, this size fits all, and I'm like, have you seen my wrist? I get that same issue from my mom. She has the same thing. We have tiny wrists. It's not fun. It's not fun at all. It's sad. Very sad. But anyways. Well, hello, welcome. No, I said the word! No! I just realized. I mean, nobody heard anything. Nobody heard no. Just the instant realization. I was just like, ah, shoot. Look. Okay. Alright. So evil. Funny number. Why does someone just go through a compilation of and just counting since the very first stream, just counting every single time I have said anyways. Now that would be that would be amazing. That would be the greatest thing ever. Good luck. I don't even know how many streams I've made. How many? Can I see how many streams I've done? See. I mean, of course we can't see in my unarchived ones. I don't know how to see it. Trying to see. I mean, videos in total, I can see that. 1.5K. Oh my god. Oh. Oh, I mean, that's including shorts and videos. But, I mean, oh my god, I didn't. Oh. 1.5? 1.5? Oh. 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 Oh my god. Oh my god. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's so many. Oh. Oh. In 4 years, I just, oh. Oh. Have it again? Don't worry about it. It's fine. Anyways. Oh, frick, I said it again. Well, that'll be it for stream, everybody. My model decided not to pick up my face again, because I am hiding it in my arms, as I am twisted into a pretzel in my chair. But yeah. Nope, there I am again. I'll be it for this stream. We'll pick up stuff. Maybe this weekend we'll do a late night stream. Maybe not. We'll see. But for Monday we'll definitely be back for probably Nightmare of Decay, I would say. Then maybe we'll pick up the Nikkei 3rd anniversary event again, and something to absolutely rip into again, and put my bear hat on. Maybe I'll finally make the bear hat asset real quick, and we'll wear that, because we need it. Why is somebody in the pun so quickly? Oh. Alright. Well, I didn't say it! I had to be actually conscious about it. Oh my god. Alright. No, 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 no. That's not even words. Born point even words. Something. Something. Do fight some things. I've had my eyes open the entire time, but for some reason my model is just eyes closed, like dead. I've been staring at it. My eyes are open. Oh, there he goes. I'm trying. Come on, you can do this. You got this, Fatum. Come on, you got it. Yeah, there you go. Go ahead. Open your eyes. Come on. I'm like, You know those like torture methods where you see them like they get the hooks around the people's eyeballs and like make them have their eyes open to look at the thingies? That's what I feel like I'm trying to do. Go open those eyes. Come on. Forsooth, Godspeed. I bid thee adieu. Clockwork Orange. I don't know what that one is. Well, anyways, there you go. You happy? Bye. I had to say to do like a bye that's like up close to the microphone, just speaking and just. Yeah, not gonna happen. I'm not gonna let you guys know when that's gonna happen. You think I would do that? Never. Bye.